What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Boys in the Big Apple podcast, episode 88. We've got Nate Talks Football on. We have Angry John. We have Donald. Today was the start of the legal tampering period in free agency. A lot of signings happened. Not as quick as I thought. Not the pace I expected. I thought it would be a little faster with the signings, but regardless, we're also waiting on the Aaron Rodgers stuff. So that ought to be interesting. So first thoughts, I'm going to go with Nate, Donald, and John.
Well, it's a good thing we waited until a little bit later tonight to have this stream because the Giants got our linebacker, which I'm really happy about. Bobby Okereke, he's going to be a good player for us. And I saw on an ESPN blast that said we overpaid for him, which I think is a little stupid. It's $10 million a year for a really solid linebacker. That's fine. And then just some good depth for the Giants. As for the NFL, that's a big Tremaine Edmonds contract. That is a Kenny Golladay Tremaine Edmonds contract. Not that he might not live up to it, but that's a big number, 4 years, 72. And Bears, they are acting like they have all that money. So that's an interesting start. And you touched on the Aaron Rodgers situation. Aside from Deshaun Watson, is there a more hateable quarterback in the NFL than Aaron Rodgers? Because Brady's gone. Is there more hateable active quarterback in the NFL than Aaron Rodgers? Like, people have their own personal biases. I'm sure a lot of Jets fans hate Zach Wilson. You know, a lot of Chiefs fans have some beef with Josh Allen and Bills with Patrick Mahomes, etc., etc. But as a broad sense, is there more of a hated quarterback than Aaron Rodgers? Even the Packers fans don't like him anymore. He's just an asshole. So, I mean, maybe he'll go on another ayahuasca retreat and be visited by 3 ghosts and be less of a cunt. But until then, you know, we're just going to be waiting here for him.
Well, it's not you guys personally. It's me and
True.
John and the Jeff fans. It's been a wild week. I'm going to go to Donald next.
That's my guy already. Already to see you next Tuesday. You're getting fire in there. That's my man right here. I like Nate Talks Football. Yeah, I actually kind of agree with him. I think he's taking the Jets for a ride right now. This should be done and dusted. The fact that the Jets are just waiting and waiting and waiting, and he's doing it deliberately. Like, there's no reason for him to do this. Like, there's absolutely no reason for him to do this. You know, what did he do during this meditation retreat? I mean, obviously he must have made his mind up, or he was just, what was he doing? Like, smoking pot and taking mushrooms and flying all over the hut?
Probably, actually.
What was he actually doing during that time? Because, you know, this is a really important period for the Jets, and it's a really important period for all football teams. This opening day of legal tampering. So I think that this should have been done and dusted prior to legal tampering. Made his decision one way or the other. It makes me think that he's not all in on the Jets, because if he was, wouldn't he have already made the decision by now? Like, he's deliberately doing it in order to kind of raise his. Be like this kind of guy that everyone's waiting for. Oh, is he coming here? Is he coming here? It's all dramatics, and it's asshole-ish, really. Let's be honest. But when he does, I'm sure it will happen. When he does become a Jet, obviously, it's still a really good move for the Jets for 1 year, because it's only going to be 1 year and he's going to leave. Guarantee you. I'll absolutely put that to the bank. So if you guys are willing to just put up with him being an asshole for a year just to make the playoffs, then hey, fair. But
Then it's on to the Vikings.
That's it. So that's
Brett
exactly
Favre
it.
thing.
You know,
Totally.
Brett Favre. I think he is trolling the Jets, as Almighty Finesse says here. But as for the G-Man, the roll it back G-Man, some things that I don't like bringing back Jamie Gillen. Like, that dude absolutely sucks balls. I mean, Matt Breed is okay. He's fine. Could you have gotten a better running back later in free agency? Yes. But he's fine. He's okay.
I really like the Matt Breida signing.
He's okay, but remember, he got better as the year went on. But at the start of the year, he was really struggling. But I do like him. He's fast and stuff. I'm not overly overawed by the fact that we just keep rolling it back a little bit. I think we can raise our standards a little. But having said that, I don't mind the nose tackle we got, the backup from Tampa Bay. Roche is fine, backup. And Bobby Okereke. Almost 2 300 tackles in 2 seasons. I'm good with it. I am happy with it. Absolutely fine. He was definitely on my short list of linebackers to target, so I'm very happy that it's done. Is another first list of a lot. Bears just beat out like bandits. I don't know. They were like, how many inside linebackers are free agency? We're getting them all. They're all here. And so I don't quite understand why there's two inside linebackers playing for them. No, I'm good with Bobby Okereke. I think he's going to be really good. 280 tackles in 2 seasons. I mean, dude's legit. Legit. I think he's a good signing.
John.
What is going on, everybody? First off, thank you to all who are in the chat with us tonight, especially if you were here earlier this afternoon. We had a lot of good comments and good questions earlier, so thank you guys for tuning in this afternoon show and tonight's show. And hopefully we break more NFL news. Hopefully I don't get trolled like a fool again. No, this Aaron Rodgers stuff has me and Luca sweating very much. And I can't it is a horrible time to be a Jets fan because this only makes things worse, okay? Nobody understands the pain that me and Luca have gone through, all right? We don't get to have quarterbacks. That's not something the Jets do at all. So whether Aaron Rodgers is an asshole or not, fine. I don't care if he's the biggest asshole in the world. That's right. That's Salah. But anyway, it's not easy, okay? And me and Luca will tell you that ourselves. Yeah, Matt Riley. I see the little comments. Okay? You know what? You can go.
Not bringing the fire. Just for context, Nate.
I got trolled on Twitter.
John got trolled.
I got trolled
Twitter.
Bad.
He read a fake report that said that the Patriots traded 2 first-round draft picks for Jerry Jeudy. Broke it on our stream.
Listen, the Patriots do some funny things, John. I can understand where you're coming from.
Thank you, Nate.
I can get with it, my guy.
Yeah, up your ass, Matt.
All right, I guess this is my time. But anyway, shout out to
hold on, no, not your time. I didn't go over my first thoughts. You
got
came in
Stephen
here.
A. and Skip on here.
Shannon.
I didn't Shannon and Skip thoughts. Between these two. Goddamn. It's my turn. It's my turn.
It's my turn.
I want to talk about LeBron, damn it.
Anyways, my first thoughts. This past week has been hell for my brain. I'm losing brain cells by the minute because I am just glued to Twitter and constantly refreshing my feed because this whole Rodgers thing, that's a whole nother thing. I'm going with free agency. We're all analyzing stuff. Thank you to the chat. Whoever appeared in the earlier stream did about 4 hours, over 1,000 views, I think, 1,000 subs. So thanks to you guys. Thanks to Nate for coming on. And Alex, you can finally talk.
Yeah, I didn't know I had to get permission from my little brother to talk. But
wow. Okay.
That's funny because I came up with the idea of the podcast. So.
Flexing on the channel.
Here we go.
Are you seriously pulling rank?
No, you're pulling. You just pulled rank.
We got a guest, and we've got a lot of people in the chat. Let's move this on. Come on.
Well,
the sibling rivalry can happen behind closed doors.
Yeah, we're open. I don't know. But anyway, shouts to everybody in the chat. I wasn't here for a portion of the beginning of the show and also this afternoon show because I had to run some errands. But appreciate all y'all in the chat. We had over 1,000 views off the stream earlier, which is really good. I think we're at 1,074 subscribers. So that's obviously progression, obviously. Why is it Bronx in your YouTube channel name? Just curious, because I do Yankee content. That's why.
Yeah, genius.
Maybe Almighty doesn't know, okay? And he's a Brooklyn guy like myself, so. Shouts to Matt, Jacob, all you guys in the chat. Questions, comments, all that sort of stuff. Li obviously talking about the Josh Donaldson stuff.
I got a breaking news tweet. First of all, the details on the Peterson deal for the Steelers: 2 years, $14 million, with the 5.5, nearly $6 million guaranteed. As of right now, the Kelvin Beachum, the veteran tackle, is re-signing with the Cardinals on a 2-year contract.
Solid deal for the Steelers. That's fine.
I see like a Joe Hayden type deal. except a little bit more burnt crisp, like, past his prime a little bit.
I don't think Peterson's that burnt.
Yeah, Peterson, he'll give them one season of passable corner play, I would say.
I agree with that. But just my first thoughts on this Giant stuff. I really had my heart set on Tremaine Edmonds. If anybody didn't, know, the whole panel knew. But Nate,
you made it pretty clear on Twitter, Alex.
Yes, I made it pretty clear. But $18 million a year,
Too much.
I don't know about that. That's kind of the Kenny Galladay-esque, and Tremaine Edmonds probably has a better chance of living that up. I mentioned a few months ago that it would be, for me, Edmonds, Edwards, and Okereke. I kind of also thought about Bobby Wagner a little bit, but you know what? Okereke, I'm fine with. I'm not overly pleased. I'm not jumping up in the air. We got to see him with the Colts game and everything. My thing is just, can he be a Mike linebacker? That's what I want. And he's very solid against the run from what I've been reading, which is honestly, in my eyes, Bobby Okereke can go fuck himself. No hard feelings, though, of course. That's because of the Daniel Jones unnecessary roughness happening as the Colts. So Matt's holding a little grudge. But
Jones has 40 million reasons to get over it. I'm not hearing that, man.
Exactly. Yeah. I got to take Nate's side on that one.
Yeah, I was.
You see that? It's the world's smallest violin for all your problems.
Alex, the table was, I kind of was banging the table. The Bears better at defense. Yeah, I don't. 91 million combined for linebackers is a little crazy, but Edwards kind of was not a Mike right out of college. So
the Edwards deal was so cheap, by the way. Also,
that's crazy.
Like, that was a wild discount. That balances out how much they paid for Tremaine Edmonds.
Mm-hmm.
That does, actually. And I think it's because Edwards is apparently from that area. Well, at least he's from Illinois, so maybe that was like his childhood team. But, he had a couple of solid years, and then, the last one, obviously, just ultimate success.
Yeah.
If Okereke did that Rodgers, you'd call for his head job.
I don't know. I don't know if Rodgers is my quarterback yet.
Yeah, you can't say that.
Can't say that.
Can't say such things.
Okay, Daniel Jones fanboy.
Okay. Almighty says, "Why Okereke? I want Darius Leonard. We're not getting Shaq.
No, come on, stop. We're not getting him.
He's. I don't know Almighty how much cap space.
Although their GM has come in and done a very excellent job, in my opinion.
Ryan Poles?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's done.
It's been interesting so far. The trade obviously is going to look real good on his resume, but
and to trade out of the first overall pick, you get multiple firsts, multiple seconds, and you get DJ Moore, who's probably 1,000-yard, who actually is a 1,000-yard receiver when he has a good quarterback. So, and then you do all this today. It's like, hey, this is now a competent team for them.
There's a danger, though, with general managers, and Giants fans will know all about this. There's a danger with general managers to evaluate things too early. And Ryan Poles has done some things that on paper look good, but we need to wait a while and see how a lot of those moves pan out, and we have to see how he drafts and how those choices turn out. So let's not throw the parade in Chicago just yet.
No, yeah, of course. I'm just saying, so far, based on what I've seen, the move.
Fair.
See, everybody's
Nate, what are your thoughts on the deal the Giants made earlier this afternoon? The Giants getting a veteran defensive tackle, Raheem Nunez-Roches. What do you think of him? Obviously he's got 2 sacks, 5 tackles for loss, 3 quarterback hits last year. So decent stats, good run guy, good guy against the run. What do you think?
I think it's a pretty decent signing. A lot of people are making more out of it than they need to, but we needed exactly him, which is a depth guy. The guy that's not nearly the most valuable or most important or most well-known guy in your team, but someone you have to have nonetheless. Because every Giants fan knows damn well our run game, on defense anyway, was Dexter Lawrence and nothing else.
That's right.
As soon as he went off the field, we were getting shredded. Justin Ellis was getting killed. Our linebackers were just picking grass, and we needed someone to step in and fill that depth role on the defensive line, so when Dexter Lawrence is getting a breather on the sideline, we're not getting crushed up the A-gap and the B-gap just for free. And I personally was looking at the draft to do that because I think you can usually find those guys in the 5th round and later. But if we can do it for relatively cheap for a guy like Noche, I'm fine with that. That works for me. And a lot of people are going to get upset about him not being pass rush versatile, but he's a depth guy. You can't ask that much out of your rotational guys. When you're looking at a team like the Eagles, it's easy to get jealous, but those teams don't grow on trees. It took a lot of work for Howie Roseman to get them there, and now they're losing a lot on the back end of it after that 1 year. So you can't have everything, and as a depth piece, he's fine. It's not flashy, it's not special, but it's fine.
Yeah, I quite like him as a backup to Dex. That's fine. You go Leo on the other side. He's going to be better, hopefully healthy next year. So there's better guys against the run.
Yeah.
We still need a 3-tech for a front three. So I'm really hoping that we can maybe get a Davenport or a Zach Allen or something like that. I think he'd be they'd be a nice addition. But as a backup nose, I think he's a perfectly fine signing. He's excellent at stopping the run. Nothing else, but hey, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, when you're looking at those nose tackle types, I mean, we as Giants fans might even have unrealistic expectations because we watch Dexter Lawrence every week. But most nose tackles, most true nose tackles anyway, aren't meant to be pass rushers. They're just anchors. If you have a good nose tackle, that means you have a guy that's going to be head up on the center, and he is not going anywhere. He's not going forward, but he's not going backwards. That's what you want in a true nose, and that's what he can do for us. So I'm fine with it.
Yep.
Yeah. I might still draft one, though, if I was Joe Shane.
Sure. I mean, when you're looking at low-value picks, it's really just trying to find the best players at that spot that you can. I mean, when you're looking at 5th round and later, it's really just who do we have a high grade on that's falling farther than they should. The positional stuff doesn't really matter because you're not looking for starters anymore. You're not looking for filling holes in your starting 22. So at that point, you're saying, even if it's not necessarily at the position where we're thinnest, who's the guy that can help us the most? Who do we think is the most talented at this round? For example, if we're on the board in the 5th or 6th round and we've already addressed some other holes, or even if we haven't, we need receiver, obviously, more than we might need something like edge. But if the best player on the board is an edge as opposed to a receiver, we're taking the edge because that's what you're doing with that draft philosophy later.
Totally agree. Jacob has a good point. Ryan Dunleavy said that Von Bell's contract with the Panthers could be the marker for Julian Love. Does anybody know how much he got?
I don't remember.
I could look
That's
it up.
$6.5
I can pull it
million.
up.
$6.5 million.
Pretty
Something like that.
fine by me. Yeah.
I mean, it's
I'd
not
sign
terrible.
Love for that.
The safety, I'm going to double check because I got the whole tracker here.
Okay.
So Nate, do you want Julian Love back or you want another safety?
Sorry, are we gonna? Should I let him get the number? Okay, I was gonna let him get the number first, but yeah, I want Love back. I think when you're looking at him as a player, he's not obviously a superstar, but he is a guy that I'm a fan of. He's
3 years,
just gonna do
$22.5
work.
million. That's about
Yeah, I'd sign
$7.5
Love for
million per
that.
year.
I'd sign Love for that. It's on the upper limit of where I'd go, but I'd still sign him for that. The thing is that when it comes to Julian Love, I'm fine either way. Because I'm fine with signing him because I think he brings intangibles to the team. He's a locker room guy. He was a captain. He brings good, solid, dependable play. But on the other hand, if we don't, he's not that difficult to replace. So as long as we're not overpaying for him, I'm okay with it either way. Because Dane Belton's a guy that looked real good. There's some depth in the safety class this year in the draft. We have options, so it's not something to be too stressed about.
Alex, where are you on Julian Love?
$6 million is not necessarily breaking the bank. So I'd be open to bringing Julian Love back. Obviously, I mean, with that again, it's not that difficult to replace. So, $6 million, $7 million, maybe take it or leave it. I don't know what the Giants are going to do the rest of free agency. Honestly,
I want another
Lions have
linebacker.
signed Jets Connor McGovern for 3 years, $22 million.
Yeah, that was a while ago. That's a good signing for them.
All right.
There was also a Connor McGovern that signed with the Bills, so both are gone and in the same day. So it fucks up with people's minds. So that's a solid deal. I wasn't a fan. I said if he was going to get a raise, I would tell him goodbye. But he's getting a solid deal. $7 million. That's not bad for him. I got to be honest.
Yeah.
So
By
now
the
we
way,
a tackle center.
Yeah.
Other positions.
For me, I still want the Giants to get another linebacker in free agency, by the way. 100%. We got a Mike, which I'm happy about. I'd like to get a Will. There's a lot on this market. Like, we've seen a few names go off the linebacker board, and some people think the position's dry. It's not. There's still a lot of guys out there that we can go get. And in the draft, I think it's a lot shallower at linebacker.
I agree.
And I would love to spend those dollars that we have on a $6, $7, $8 million a year guy, because we need so much help at linebacker, and Okereke isn't all we need. We need more than him. So I'd like to get another guy in free agency. Kaiser White would be a good signing. Azeez Al-Shire would be a good signing. There's still plenty of names out there that we could go get that aren't premium but are going to give us good, solid, dependable play, which is what I want at this linebacker spot.
I agree. Now, let me ask you your thoughts, because I've had multiple conversations with you regarding the linebacker position in this draft.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts on Jack Campbell?
Good player. Now that we've got Okereke, he's not what we need anymore. Jack Campbell's a Mike straight up, and I think if we just paid $10 million a year to Okereke, that's a spot filled. I don't want to be investing the type of draft capital that we'd need to in Jack Campbell, since we've already spent that $10 million on Okereke. That's just inefficient. He's a good player though, and if we hadn't gotten our guy in free agency, I wouldn't have been mad at us taking him. So that's Jack Campbell to me. Big, strong, physical, good guy.
Hey, did y'all Jet fans get this tweet from Garrett Wilson?
What is it this time?
I ain't gonna fake it. I thought Dov Kleiman's tweet was the news break I was waiting for.
We'll see. I'm not.
Shake my
That's
head.
hilarious.
I don't know
We'll see.
anything. Sorry about that.
Oh my
We'll see.
gosh! At least he's coming clean about it. That's great. That's fun.
And Wingo, I trust Wingo, but I need that second source. It's going to be a bit before these big guys break it, because I think Rodgers is going to leave these guys in the dark. So
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine if Rodgers just decided, nah, I don't want to anymore? The Jets are so screwed at that point. Like,
Super duper.
so under the bus screwed.
We're gonna end up with Marcus Mariota. That's gonna be our fucking guy.
Oh, pain. Trade up for Will Levis. Oh,
That would
Gross.
call. I think if Rodgers doesn't go to the Jets, I think we would have to spin the wheel of quarterbacks.
what? That sounds terrible. Oh my goodness.
We did the wheel of excuses back in February, I believe. January, so it's that far back. But yeah, we spent the wheel of excuses.
Not that I would ever wish harm on Jets fans, but I kind of want to see it because that would be hilarious. Just to see where the Jets end up. If it for some reason, if a miraculous string of events happened and Zach Wilson was starting next year, I would die laughing. That would be just hilarious.
I won't allow it. I will not allow it. I don't care. I will get the helicopters. I will fly into Robert Saleh, Joe Douglas's house. Fuck that. That is not happening. Nope.
That's great.
Nope.
Matt Riley says Jameis Winston's free agent. Wasn't there a rumor that he was going to Denver though?
He's expected to. I think he's expected to sign with them. I don't think it's official. There's mutual interest. No, Scotty. I don't want Mariota. I don't want no Gardner Minshew. I don't want Teddy Bridgewater. I want Jacoby Brissett. All right. I don't want no fucking garbage backup as my starter, and I don't want Zach Wilson starting.
Tank for Caleb Williams next year, man. That's all you can do.
No, I don't
That's
want
all
to
it
tank.
is.
I don't want to tank and draft anyone because I know we can't develop. So there's no point.
That's
They
valid.
can't develop. They can't.
Hey,
develop.
I acknowledge him for saying that. That's fair, honestly.
They
He's a
don't
self-aware
develop.
fan.
No, yeah, I'm not stupid. I know they can't. I know they can't.
Which backup did Denver sign today?
Did they?
Because apparently that's what Matt says in the chat.
I didn't realize Denver signed it back up. Let me take a look.
I mean, there was that comment earlier that said we should trade Tyrod to the Jets for a first-round pick.
Oh, they signed Stidham.
Ah,
Oh, okay. Yeah, fair enough. That would seem to indicate that they wouldn't go after Jameis anymore.
No, it's okay. They can take. I don't want any idea. No Tyrod Taylor, Jacob. No Winston. No nobody. No Ryan Tannehill. Okay.
Wait,
No.
so with Mike White gone too, is Zach Wilson the only quarterback left on your depth chart?
No, we have Chris Streveler.
Oh,
I'll
So
start.
Streveler QB1, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Streveler
I-
over Wilson on the depth chart right now.
Yeah. You.
Okay.
Why in the hell would I ever let Zach Wilson throw another football?
Listen, long as we're clear. Not even with his family on Thanksgiving. No. It's
No.
off limits. He's playing receiver in the backyard. That's all
No,
it is.
he's playing left bench. All right, he's not playing anything.
Left bench.
Terrible. He's absolutely
Zach Wilson. By the way, sorry, I'm sure you guys have talked about Zach Wilson extensively on this channel, but just because I haven't, Zach Wilson to me was mind-boggling because he wasn't an incredible prospect coming out of BYU. Like, he was overdrafted. We all knew that. But at the same time, he regressed so hard as a quarterback after not having improved at all. He was doing things like when you're evaluating quarterbacks on tape and you're looking for certain qualities, certain attributes, certain abilities, right? You're looking at sort of a checklist almost. Not that anyone has one, maybe some people do, but you're looking for certain things in a quarterback. Certain things, for instance, that they don't do. One of those things is freeze on RPOs. And watching Zach Wilson's tape, there were so many things that I saw him do that I was like, he didn't even do that in college. Why is he getting worse? And it was just impressive how he continued to suck worse and worse as the year went on. I was very impressed by that.
No, it's because we can't develop anyone with forward progression. We always make them worse. Same thing happened to Sam Darnold.
Yeah, true.
Literally the same thing. Now Sam Darnold was a much better prospect than Zach Wilson by far, but
Yeah, I'm seeing serious mechanics issues with Zach
yeah,
Wilson.
his
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 arm
footwork
angles,
His
arm angles, footwork is
This was
so
another thing.
scary.
This was another thing that got worse with him out of college. His footwork wasn't immaculate in college. It wasn't perfectly consistent, but it wasn't as bad as it was with the Jets. There were snaps of him in the pocket that were just so all over the map from a footwork perspective. I mean, heel clicky as hell. He's got happy feet in his throw. He's not getting all his cleats in the ground. Everything you don't want in a quarterback's footwork, he was doing. And it was just so frustrating to watch. I hate watching bad quarterback play with mechanics, and that's why it is very frustrating on some levels to watch some of these guys in the draft. But Zach Wilson was so strangely inconsistent in the things that he was fucking up. It was very interesting, honestly.
the worst quarterback in the NFL.
By
far.
miles. By miles. He was probably QB 36-ish, give or take, last year.
QB 75 at this point. He doesn't get in the 30s for me. He's like 70.
Bro, remember when we did the NFL.com
Yeah,
ranking?
yeah.
We had Zach
I think
Wilson?
it was like
where did they rank him again?
It was like
closer to John.
it was like 50 or 60. I think like
Yeah, he
Flacco
was.
and Mike White were both ahead of him.
Oh yeah, by a distance. Like Joe
Yeah.
Flacco was up like 23 spots ahead of him or some shit.
Yeah,
As
we
he
were like-
probably should be.
Yeah, I know. The statue, Joe Flacco.
Mass
Better
says
than
the-
Wilson.
Right. Mass says the unfortunate part for the Jets is Brian Dable was the Jets QB coach the year before they got Sanchez.
Is that true?
That's true, yeah.
That's a real fact?
Yes,
Yeah.
that is a real fact.
I'm so sorry. That is horrendous.
The pain doesn't stop. This is
That
why
is
you see,
tragic.
boys. You see this the comment. You see why I was so pessimistic with Luka when we talked about Aaron Rodgers. You see I was so pessimistic because it's stupid shit like that. Every little thing goes against us because we suck.
That's incredible.
We actually suck.
Honestly. Wow. I feel so bad for Jets fans, man. Y'all have it tough.
I know.
That Dabes thing is brutal to hear.
Everyone
That's
thinks
awful.
Everyone thinks they can pick on us, but the reality is like they can't because
The
we
pain's been
already
too much
know.
already.
We already know we suck. We already know that we're so bad. Like there's nothing you could say that
To make
we
it
wouldn't
worse.
make- Yeah, literally.
It's as bad as it's gonna get, man. It's done. It's
I
class.
I don't know if you know, but me and both Alex and Luca were at that Thursday night game, the Jets and Jaguars game this past year.
Oh.
It was when I tell you I've never seen a fan base want to like punch a quarterback so much, and Alex can attest to it. I have never seen one player hated so much in any sporting event.
That's
On
tough.
their own team. On their own team.
That's tough.
It was horrendous.
I think I had a better game experience last year than you did. I was at the Jacksonville game for the Giants, and that was a good time. I tell you, that was a Giants home game is what that was. That was fantastic.
And then we got to witness Kenny Galladay's first touchdown at the bar.
How did that happen? I still can't believe that was a thing that happened. Like, that's mind blowing, really.
I thought it was like pass interference or an incomplete pass. I'm like, wait a minute, he caught that.
No, really?
And I remember I just kept busting chops. I was busting Nate's chops. I said, Kenny Galladay's going to get a touchdown. He goes, Alex, just don't say that. And I had to make up a bet. If the Giants won that game with their backups in, I'd have to go into that river. Apparently,
Yeah.
Whatever the fuck it was. Luca, you got breaking news?
Oh, he's calling for a timeout.
Eric Kendricks is signing with the Chargers.
Okay.
So that means Drew Tranquil's not coming back.
I'd pick up Tranquil if the price was right.
Our price is right.
I don't think Kendricks is a good signing for the Chargers, honestly. He looked real cooked last year.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be for him if the Giants tried to pick him up.
It does depend on the money, though. If they can get him for super cheap, it's all right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think they got a new DC in town, something like that. I don't know.
Did they?
Isn't Tranquil be better?
Tranquil is better.
Really good year for them.
Yeah, Tranquil would be a better option than Kendricks going into next year.
Exactly. He's really good stats. Like Luca read the stats out from last year. Monster.
Got a question for Nate, because me and him also have had extensive conversations about this. Would you have given Nick Gates 3 years?
I'm not sure I'd given him any part of that contract, honestly. It hurts real bad to see him go to Washington. It does. And I wanted him back. I really did, especially over Feliciano. Because that's the part that really hurts me, is that we're choosing Feliciano over him. That stings. But at the same time, Commanders gave him more money, and I don't think I would give him that much. The 3 years is less offensive to me than the money is, because when you're looking at a contract like Gates's, it's not really a 3-year deal. They're not locked into that in any way. But they gave him a higher average than I would have. It was what, like 4.5 a year, something like that, something in that neighborhood, and it just wasn't enough. It was just too much for me. I think Gates is an incredible story. I am one of his biggest fans, but at the same time, you can't rely on health for a guy with his situation, and you also just can't rely on quality of play when he hasn't played consistent snaps in now 2.5 years, and he has to prove a lot. So I'm not mad that we let him go. I am mad that we're keeping Feliciano over him.
Yep.
That part pisses me off.
I don't get it.
I don't understand their loyalty to this guy, man. I know they brought him over from Buffalo, and I know they want their guys in the building, but can you get your guys that aren't trash, please?
He's a TV dinner.
Buffalo is a good enough team that you can be bringing over the good parts and leave Felice Sacano back in the snow. We don't need him, man. Come on. What are we doing?
And I think his incompetence deliberately led to, well, not deliberately, but ended up leading directly leading to some of our problems on the right side.
Agreed.
Especially Glowinski. I think Glowinski really struggled beside him.
And in that respect, I mean, every offensive lineman, when they're struggling, it impacts the rest of the line. That's just going to be a fact. And Feliciano was putrid last year.
Trash.
So bad.
He was slightly better as the year went on, but the first half of the year and more, he was just awful. God awful.
I guess.
Yeah. Corey says, any insight on Okereke and Nunez for Nunez Roches for NYG? I'll put it simply because I'll pass it on to anyone who else wants to comment or repeat their comments. Okereke, solid signing. I want to see what he does takes on the full role of Mike linebacker. And Raheem Nunez Roches, very solid depth signing.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it a little more earlier, so if you want to see the full opinion, you can just rewind the stream later. But Okereke for me, Okereke for me is just the new Blake Martinez, which is solid, and I'm fine with that. That's all I really got for it.
Yeah, I mean, if Bobby Skinner says here, about to dive into Bobby Okereke's film, but talking with some Colts people, he's fast and physical in the run game, which
Yeah.
the Giants just had to have. Gave up some stuff in coverage, but that's all partly scheme. But if you look at his numbers, 2022, 151 tackles, 6 tackles for a loss. 2021, 132 tackles, 3 tackles for a loss, 2 interceptions. And those are legit, man. That's almost 300 tackles and almost 10 tackles for a loss and 2 picks in 2 seasons. You take that. It's kind of like Martinez-ish, but you're getting a younger, healthier like Martinez. So that's pretty good.
And he doesn't sell Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
Disgruntled says Feliciano was a good backup in Oakland. I don't know what he's doing starting. Yeah. No, well, I think Jacob, I think Nate's okay with not paying Tremaine Edmonds $18 million a year.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, that's correct.
I wanted to ask Donald because I know it was his guy, but what do you think now that Jamel Dean's re-signed with the Bucks?
I saw your tweet about that.
Where do they go to corner?
It's a great question. Great question. Luca?
Breaking news. Former Cardinals defensive end Zach Allen has reached a 3-year, $45.75 million deal in Denver. He will be reuniting with Vance Joseph.
A lot of money there. It's an expensive
Look
deal.
at this dude's stats.
I wouldn't pay him that much.
I was about to say he ain't that good.
I wouldn't pay him 15 a year. No way.
Yeah, 5.5 sacks last year. No, fuck yourself.
Dude, 5.5
Well
sacks.
said.
And
You
5.5
know,
sacks
Alex-
is good for us.
Listen, Alex, you got to stop holding back. You got to say what you really think. You can't be afraid to just
Nate,
let him
this
have
is
it
what I'm
sometimes.
talking about.
When you believe
He doesn't take a side.
Here we
Exactly.
go.
He's
again.
riding the
Here we
fence.
go.
You can't be doing that.
Round
When did
two.
I ride the
Round
fence
two.
just now?
He is a fence rider.
I'm being sarcastic.
No. But but I'm referring to the rest of the panel because I'm apparently
okay.
offensive.
Yeah,
It's a narrative.
Hold on a second.
He's
You're not
starting to learn
interrogating-
from me and Luca to take more of a side. I think he's getting better at it.
This is a good question, Matt. How does Denver have all this money?
The answer is they don't.
Yeah, they just like kicking the can down the road like the Saints.
Well, if you're familiar with the current news and you've been keeping up, as you're well aware, there's been some big things with banks recently and all the things that are failing. Denver is about to be one of those banks. That's all you need to know.
Fair enough.
Good analogy.
Well said.
Good analogy. Must be getting sore riding all that fence, Disgruntled says. Might be one of the top comments of the night. I'm not gonna
Riding
not gonna
that
lie.
fence so hard he won't be able to walk in the morning. God damn.
Yeah, he rides it like Seabiscuit. Jamil Dean. I really wanted him, man. He was like my number one target.
Really? You were that into it, were you?
I was totally into it because I really need to have a lockdown corner beside Adoree Jackson to make Wink's system work. It's absolutely imperative that you've got 2 lockdown man corners. So a little bit disappointed about that. I would have paid what it took to get him back. But from what I understood, he really wanted to come back to Tampa Bay. Like that was his thing. Like he was willing to take a discount to do so. So maybe the Giants were in it, but maybe he just wanted to go home. So I can't blame him for it, but it
Donald,
sucks.
did you say understand?
I do understand.
Okay, good. Just making sure.
What did you think?
Well, in regards to Jamel Dean and wanting to stay in Tampa, first of all, as someone who recently moved from the north to South Florida, I get it. Fair. Good decision, probably. But also, I don't know that I would rather get any of the corners that are available than stick and pick in this draft, because this is one of the deepest corner classes in quite some time. There's a lot of really solid, strong corner prospects in this class, and you can probably be picking one in the first round all the way to the third round and still get someone you can depend on to start. That's how many good corners there are in this class.
Yeah, it's just like my thing is, and I know there's obviously, and I'm going to present it in a little bit, what my ideal offseason was. Because I've been busy over the last few days and I wasn't able to like make the full video, but I still have like the graphics I could show and whatnot, what I would have done. But like my philosophy was, you could push the Adoree contract down the line. They haven't done that yet. but paying 2 corners, like that's Bradbury, Adoree Jackson stuff, and I want but we're trying to have a future here. And listen, look, Jamel Dean's a good player. I'm just saying, Joey Porter or Davon Witherspoon, you can go get your guy.
Sorry, did you say Davon Witherspoon?
Devon
It's
was
just
Okay.
Devin.
Okay. All right there, English class. All right, English class. Yeah, no, well, of course, zero income tax in Florida. So
Oh, that's something I've wondered about for a while. Do they factor that in when they're negotiating? They have to,
Yes.
right?
yes,
Surely.
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Because, surely they're not that stupid in the front office of these teams that they don't use that as leverage,
Oh yeah, of course they do.
I mean, come on.
Any sport.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
It
course.
should be in any sport.
Yeah, they're very schnart. What are your
Well,
Jake-
not all of them. We'd know.
Well,
So,
yeah, a lot of
if Dave Gettleman was managing the Bucks, he wouldn't be. So,
Can we get the updated free agent list and put it on the screen so we can maybe see which targets the Giants
yeah,
should-
sure.
or the
Get it.
Giants?
Let me get up Spot Track.
I love
Um,
that the Jets were an afterthought there for Don. That was nice.
Yeah, give me
I
any of the top.
mentioned them.
Yeah.
Well, there's
Fair
there's
point.
nothing to mention until I know who my quarterback
That's
is.
exactly. That's
There's
the
literally,
point.
they're not
No
going to sign
disrespect. It's like, hey, they
anyone.
can't do.
No,
Aaron
he's
Rodgers
not wrong.
decides.
They're not signing anyone until this Rodgers news is either broken or until he breaks my heart. So, either or.
I feel like he's going to go back to Green Bay
I
just
feel
to
like he's gonna
really fuck
No,
with
he's
everyone.
you know what's gonna be the worst? He's gonna say, Green Bay, I don't want to play for you, but I'd rather just retire than play for the Jets. Which is
Retire
even
and
gonna
host
make-
Jeopardy.
Yeah, no, literally. Why would you want to come play for us? We're clowns.
I wouldn't.
We're clowns. We
I
do
wouldn't
every-
play for the Jets.
You have any thoughts on this, Luca? Because I know you've been very quiet, like on anything we've been talking about.
I don't really have anything to add. I'm just
He's deep in the Rodgers watch right now. Is what's
I'm-
going on.
I am tired. My brain is somewhat functioning. My brain for the past week has been mush because of this whole thing.
Have you been following with Tom Grossi's watch of the Aaron Rodgers stuff?
I have not.
Tom Grossi, very famous Packers fan on YouTube,
Yeah,
is
I
going
know
through
who
this.
he is.
For chat, for people who might not, very famous Packers fan on YouTube is going through the same stuff Luca is. He's been refreshing his phone constantly,
I disagree.
all day long, just watching.
I disagree, and I'll tell you why. Because he's at least had something to root for, okay? This garbage
Oh no! I just mean over the last few days
or
to
you
a
wanna-
week.
Yeah, sure. But I'm telling you, it is not being a Packers fan is up here, and the Jets are like.
Would not say anything to the contrary.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, with the stress of the Aaron Rodgers decision, you're not alone there, Luca. You're not alone.
This is an interesting comment from King Twister. What about Aaron Rodgers going to the Cowboys and reuniting with McCarthy? that would
You're a
be
sick
very
human.
interesting.
You're
Sure.
a sick human. Whoever you are
Dak
that said
Prescott
that,
to the Packers.
you are a sick human for that. No, not even Dak Prescott to the Packers. Run a 2 QB system in Dallas. That's what it is. Pay 2 quarterbacks and 2 running backs. That's what it
two
is.
quarterbacks, $40 million.
Of course. Hell, maybe
Backloaded
45.
Backload it till 2095. I mean,
Uh, crazy.
the backloading is such a great thing in the NFL.
crazy.
So I'm gonna pull up this free agent list while we're at it. Just give me 1 second. Spot. You guys want Donald? I know you're the one who asked for it. You want available free agents or free agents that have been signed and available players too?
Probably both, or either. I don't really care.
Right.
It's just so we can look at the market still.
Real quickly though, out of without guessing. Well, actually, no. That was stupid. Without us
guessing,
looking at
huh?
the list. Yeah. I know. I'm off my game a little bit today.
What is that?
What is what
What the fuck just
that was
happened?
that was an interesting sound.
What's okay? Who's fucking around? What the hell?
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna pretend like that didn't happen, and I'm gonna go on
Okay.
with my conversation. Two free agents I'm very interested to see where they're signing. One, because I kind of want one of them on the Giants. James Bradbury and McCall Hardman.
Oh, I've seen you on Twitter talking about this.
Not the Bradbury stuff, but McCall
Is
Hardman.
this for someone in particular, or are you asking the panel?
Well, I mean, if you before we look at the list, I mean, anyone have any free agents they're looking at just to like see where they sign?
Not really, for me. Honestly, I do not care about the vast majority of this free agent pool. I'll say Kaiser White, because I'd like to have him.
Okay. Anyone else from the panel?
I do not care about anyone else that is not named Aaron Rodgers.
Fellow peanut gallery, anybody?
I can't worry about free agency right now until I know who my quarterback is.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like these Jets fans are like doing press conferences right now, and they've been really prepped for what they have to say. I can't say anything until we know further information about our quarterback. And they're just trying not to give away the terrible details of what their organization has done. This is great. I love watching you guys stressed out about this.
This is horrible. I can't even enjoy free agency because of this shit.
I'm not stressed. My brain's just melted. I can't.
That
I
sounds
can't
stressful.
do anything.
The
What can I
potential
say?
upside, Matt. The potential upside. I don't think Bradbury sucks. He played in a good.
He
solid
has
system
speed,
last
Matt.
year.
Come on. You can't always look at stats for everything. You're like the king of stats. You looked at nothing but stats. You don't look at the fit. You don't look at the scheme. You don't look at what he can do, what he adds to a football field. It's stats. If this guy had 1,000 yards, and you would be like, okay, go sign him. But did he do it in garbage time? Like, you got to look further than the stats, man. Stats aren't everything. You got to look at the outside factors.
Luca's trying to humble people now.
Good
Damn,
job.
somebody's
That
running
sounds
from
like
the
a-
cops
that sounds-
outside my window right now.
That sounds
I think
like
Hardman's better than John Ross, man. Give it a break.
No,
Luca, that
he's
sounds
not
like
John
you just
Ross.
gave Matt a huge lesson in understanding. Congratulations.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh.
Yes.
PhD in understanding.
That's right. PhD.
No, I really like Hardman's speed, and I think there's different varying roles that you can put him in. And as I say, you can have him as a obviously special teams guy, kick returner, punt returner, but you can also have him in like situations where like spread offense or maybe gadget plays, maybe situations where a quick screen, wide receiver screen, get him running, get him moving. He's so fast, man. He's so fast. I'd like to take advantage of that. I think it's something that could be useful for our scheme because I think Kafka likes these the short intermediate routes. I think he likes that. It's good for Daniel Jones to get that ball out quick. I think he likes that quick offense, and I think he'd be a fit there with that.
I gotta say this, and this might come off as hate. I don't care because I'm just not in the mood tonight. I'm just stressed, as I said. I think Daniel Jones. I'm gonna see if Nate agrees with this. I think Donald agreed with me on this. Do you think Daniel Jones is a beneficiary of guys who can have yards after the catch?
When you say that, do you mean in his stats now, or is that the type of quarterback he is? Because he's not the beneficiary of anything right now.
I mean, when you saw like the wild card game was an example when he'd throw a pass over the middle of Hodgins. Hodgins can create separation, get those yards after the catches. I'm not sure if it's a stats thing. I'm not talking about stats, but it's more of a visual thing.
I think that's a bit of a loaded question. Every quarterback is the beneficiary of yards after the catch. It's one of the most important statistics to judge a receiver by. That's kind of like asking, is this running back a beneficiary of good offensive line play? Like, of course they are, but it's part of playing their position.
I was asking more because Donald made a point of Daniel Jones being a quarterback who throws to whatever's in his eye line, that kind of guy.
So what does that have to do with yards after the catch? What's the connection you're making here?
I think he's talking about short concepts, simple concepts, and
I mean, if you're asking if he's a check down artist, I don't think so.
Not a check down artist.
I think Daniel Jones is a quarterback that is trying to find his identity still, and he may be on the verge of finding it right now, which is a scrambler that can run when necessary. He's not going to be a guy that reads through every play like a Peyton Manning type, but at the same time, he'll get the ball where it needs to go, and what he needs is a separator, because when you're watching tape on these Giants games, the one thing that you say just truly an obnoxious amount is no one's open. Everybody's covered. So, I mean, if you want to say he'd be the beneficiary of yards after the catch and throw into guys that are in his eye line, I guess. I mean, that describes a lot of quarterbacks. I don't think it's really a valid criticism of him. And if it's an observation, it feels like a cheap observation.
What's it called? Per Josina Anderson, Jameis Winston's actually going to be returning back to the New Orleans Saints.
What?
Yeah.
I don't know
For how
why.
much?
I don't know I don't think they've given out the numbers yet, but
The Saints confuse me, man. I don't
know why they're
understand
doing
them.
that makes
Shout
no
out to my guy Bobby Tats.
I honestly believe there was real
Thank you, Bobby, man.
there was real interest from like the Broncos just because of the Sean Payton and like saying, hey, like
Does he want to be a backup?
I guess because
It's not like he has a choice.
I don't think he really.
I mean,
Who's going
if
to
he-
start Jameis Winston
if
right
he'd
now?
go to the Jets right now, he'd be the starter.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, well, anyone, that's the issue. Anyone could be the starter. I could be the starter. At least, you know what? I'll guarantee this. Out of like 10 screen passes, I can hit more than Zach Wilson can. I'll guarantee you that.
That's
Can't
that's
argue with
child's
that.
play. But Diggy said we need a vet interior O lineman, maybe a swing tackle. I agree with that. Yeah, we did see that booyah. As I said, shout out to Tats in the chat. Matt says, is Dalton still on the team? I think Dalton's a free agent. Obviously, King Twisters provided us with the update of Jameis Winston. Let's see. Yeah, a couple of comments about McCall. So let's get into the free agent, or at least available list. And honestly, I don't know how you feel about this, Nate. Knowing that we've been watching Giants football against this team for how many years, I don't know that I would mind Anthony Brown from the Cowboys.
I think I would, unless it was super cheap. I think I would mind.
Okay, all right. Well,
Okay, let's see here.
I mean, a name's a name, and we do need names, so I guess.
name. All right. So here is some of the list of guys that have been re-signed, or at least signed to different teams.
Sure.
Case Keenum going back to his team that he kind of got signed with when he came into the league, Houston. Bradley Bozeman back to Carolina, which I think, what was it? Finesse Almighty. He actually touched on in the chat. He was like, "You should get what was his face? Roseman. He's resigned." So, Jonathan Jones is back.
Evan says that the deal is 1 year worth up to $8 million for Jameis.
Wow, that's shockingly little. I know he's a backup, but that's
That is
nothing.
very
Jimmy Ward to Houston.
Okay.
All right,
Ward to Houston. So
fine.
I guess they're trying to make it like 49ers South, and they got 49ers East with the Jets. So, all right.
So Jermaine Pratt's already resigned. So
49ers
I
East
did
looks
not want
very
him.
un-49ers like.
Yeah. I don't know how you felt, Nate. I did not want Jermaine Pratt.
No, I didn't either. I thought he was going to be overpriced.
Yeah, I agree. A couple other signings here. We talked about Connor McGovern earlier. Nate Davis, 3 years, $30 million for the Bears. I mean,
The Bears are throwing that cash around.
yep. Party like it's fucking 1999. Javon Hargrave. Talked about that earlier. Mike McGlinchey.
Juwan
Those Niners are
Taylor.
going to be scary next year.
Who's going to be scary?
The Niners.
Yeah. They'll
The
they'll be
real
scary like
Niners,
they are
not
every year,
Niners
and then-
East.
Yeah.
What do you think of Juwan Taylor for the Chiefs?
Overpaying.
That's such a wild contract to me. I could not believe he got that money. That was crazy.
Is he going to play right or left?
Left, apparently. Apparently he's playing left.
According to James Palmer, this left
Which
back.
he has not played in the NFL yet.
That's a
So-
weird one for me. I would not pay that kind of money for a project.
He also did not play left tackle at Florida before he came out, to my knowledge. He didn't in his last year at Florida, as far as I'm aware.
That's a strange one.
Yeah, that was.
I mean, a right tackle, okay, but I have to
No, I wouldn't pay him that much anywhere.
Yeah. They're always scary. Yeah, to be fair, Max, the 49ers are always scary. Matt says 49ers had 3 starting QBs. This year, 49ers East haven't had three starting QBs in the last 40, so that's a shot at the Jets.
Yikes.
Ouch.
Some other signings, Cam Sutton.
That was a good contract.
I just feel like I have this feeling that let's just say Aaron Rodgers is traded to the Jets tonight on stream.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Luca and John are gonna wake up out of their silence and just start fucking partying like it's goddamn 1999.
What would you like me to do?
I'm just saying.
Yeah, curious question, Alex. What would you like us to do?
Why do you defer to me for that answer?
Because you asked a stupid ass question.
All right.
He doesn't have a response for that. He's like, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. How do you
By the
all
way-
feel about Darnold to San Fran?
That's fine. By the way, in terms of Aaron Rodgers, I just want to say, even if the Jets get him, I don't think they're making it past the wild card round, even with Aaron Rodgers.
You know what? That'll still be our best season in the past decade.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I don't. Everyone's like, "Oh, you're not going to win a Super Bowl with him." Like, yeah, we're not winning a Super Bowl without him, but he definitely makes it better.
Good
So-
point there. Good point there.
Booyah says, I think the Bears won the first day of free agency. I would say so.
I agree.
They almost got McGlinchey.
That would have been huge for them.
That would have been.
Denver.
Filling that right tackle spot with Mike McGlinchey would have been massive for the Bears.
Right. And I think they signed the linebackers that they did, both Mikes, is just because, well, their run defense, I think, was 32nd last year.
Well, the other thing is they both have flexibility in their positioning. It's not
Right.
quite so stuck in the middle of the defense. They can have both of them on the field at the same time in certain packages and not get punished for it.
Yeah, I think they would still celebrate Max. Would you guys still celebrate the trade if it included a first or a second rounder? That would be the Aaron Rodgers trade, of course. Jacob says, didn't they just draft Tevin Jenkins for right tackle?
They moved him to guard.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Who were the losers of the first day of free agency?
The losers. Huh.
Losers. That's a good
Sure
question.
seems like the best answer is the Eagles to me.
I agree with that.
Well, who lost
And the
most?
Saints. I think the Eagles and the Saints have sucked.
Fair.
When you give Derek Carr $37 million and then push it down to 2044, I mean, you're kind of in a losing position. But then again, also, he came out and said, well, you know what? I'm going to give you effort, not necessarily that I'm going to promise you wins. The Bears did have the most cap space in the NFL. Cowboys, I think the Cowboys really haven't done anything. They did lose a good guard in Connor McGovern, so there is that.
Yeah, I mean, the
We
Cowboys
We
to
also
me,
still have a lot of free agency to play out, so it's like
Right.
the Cowboys to me have already lost free agency just by nature of what they've done with their contracts in the negotiating window. I mean, it's just horrendous.
Which position should we preview here?
Well, let's look at the linebackers. No, we've already done linebacker. Let's look at
It is still worth looking at the linebackers at
defensive
some
end.
point, though.
I think we should look at defensive end.
Okay, so let's go with edge.
Okay, what have we got here? Zach Allen's gone.
Well, Allen's off the board.
Yeah.
Okereke is also off the board, I think.
Yep.
yeah, he's
Didn't Winovich go to somewhere?
Yeah,
Houston,
Winovich
yep.
gone.
This is all the
Oh,
players.
those are players that are gone.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. That's my fault for not reading. Ngakwe is a good player, but he'll end up re-signing.
Now you can't stop the run. He's terrible against the run, so it's a no for me for Ngakwe.
I wouldn't want him anyway. I was just
No.
saying his name. Ioannidis is a DT. I don't know why they have listed as an end.
Yeah, that's odd. Leonard Floyd, the eventual what should have been our first round pick.
The almost giant of the decade.
Him and Jack Conklin.
I wouldn't hate Frank Clark as a situational edge.
Honestly, I don't want any of them, frankly.
It's like looking at the end of the, or as a, and I know this is gonna sound fumbled because I just fumbled it. There's this joke from Jeff Dunham that Walter says it's like looking at the end of the bar, almost closing time. Which, if you get that, you get that. If you don't, you don't.
I get it, but I think it's disrespectful to some of these guys. There's some good guys here.
Yeah, I mean, there's some good players here to be had. I don't want them. I don't want us to sign an end. I
Like
think we're
I
fine.
don't
Tony
know
is good.
I would not touch Clowney with a 10-foot pole.
Me
My opinion.
neither.
Frank Clark's good. But Dupree's had a very good career. Leonard Floyd's had a good career.
No, Dupree's not good.
Ashawn Robinson has been mentioned by Jordan Ronan as a giant interest.
So has Marcus Davenport.
I want Davenport.
I think Davenport's a better player than Robinson.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Guys, so.
I think those are luxury signings. I don't want those guys. Personally.
Robinson's more of an interior guy, so
Yeah.
you kind of. I'm not gonna say you already filled your need in interior, but
You just signed a depth nose tackle.
Diggy asks you, Nate, who's going to be your third edge then?
I think there's guys in the draft we can take. I mean, there's a lot of it's a very middle heavy and even bottom heavy, I would say, in terms of those 3rd to 5th round guys draft at edge for me. Like I know what people are going to say to this, and it's going to piss me off when they say it. I would love to get B.J. Thompson because we have Andre Patterson.
Stephen F. Austin, right?
Yeah, we have Andre Patterson, who's one of the best coaches in the league for edge rushers and pass rushers on the defensive line. I would love to see what he could do with a guy like B.J. Thompson. And they're going to say, yeah, we already have B.J. Thompson. We already drafted him and he did nothing. Yeah, with a different coaching staff and injuries. So I would still be okay with that. There's guys you can get in the draft. I don't think we need to go out and spend money on a third edge. I think we have bigger fish to fry in free agency. I would much sooner get another linebacker. I would much sooner get some interior offensive line help if there's any left to get. I don't think we need to get one of these guys.
I don't think we'll get C.J. Gardner-Johnson almighty. I think that's a pipe dream.
Why would we get him?
Love to get him, but we're not.
No. I'm good.
Nate's not a fan.
No.
No, it's a money thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nate, you're talking about the draft. I'm a guy I've been championing is Gervon Dexter. What do you think of him?
Decent player. I think it's going to be interesting to see what round he goes in, because some people do have some questions about his technique and about his movement skills. There's a lot of over-the-map analysis about him. I think it depends on what system he goes to, what spot they ask him to play along the gap, along the line, what gap they want him to play in, mostly where they want him to earn a living, essentially. He could be a good player in the right team.
Do you think he'd be a scheme fit for us?
Depends what we want him to do. I think
As a 3-tech.
Maybe. I don't think he provides enough value as a 3-tech for us to draft him where we'd probably have to draft him, unless he falls. If he's another one of those guys that I was talking about. Once you get past the premium rounds, when you're looking at talent that falls, that's one of those talented guys that you can take even though it's not the highest priority. So that's a poster child for what I was talking about earlier. Probably closer to 4th. I would look at Gervon Dexter.
Okay. Almighty's got a good point. C.J. Gardner-Johnson might go to the Bengals. They just lost both their safeties.
It's not terrible.
And maybe John Johnson or Julian Love. So
The lean into the microphone was great.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so no one's on board with any of those options. What about Jones? Is he re-signed? Where's he gone? Draymond Jones.
I heard something about him. I don't remember what I heard.
he's still a free.
This is from Field Yates. This is restructuring. The Bills restructured their contracts of quarterback Josh Allen and linebacker Von Miller, and they now have created $32 million in cap space.
Oh, boy.
So, good job.
Who are they going after?
I don't know. That is a
They're
good
They're
Wow,
going to
for
make a
somebody.
move. Maybe they make a move for a
Poyer.
safety. Because,
Maybe they re-sign Poyer or they get another safety.
They
yeah,
could.
that's what I was saying. Yeah.
The safety market, actually, the safety market might be intriguing to look at after this, but
I mean,
Yeah,
Matt Ioannidis is available. I like Matt.
Yeah, he's a good player.
yeah,
Little
I
old,
mean,
but
he
good player.
totally fucking destroyed Mark Lewinsky. If anyone doesn't remember,
Yeah,
A
and
lot
he's
of
gonna
people
have
totally
now.
destroyed Mark
I would-
Lewinsky this year.
I would consider him.
rotational piece. I mean, let's see let's see the percentage of the snaps he played last year. Matt Ioannidis, 1 sack only in 13 games. Played about 71% of the snaps. So, I mean, if he's cheap, yeah. Armand says Gardner Johnson to the Bills. Watch the nightmare us Jet fans don't need.
I could see that.
Yeah,
Makes
of course.
a lot of sense.
Everyone can see that. There we go. Yep. The nightmare continues.
Maybe Buffalo grabs Saquon and gives us 2 first. I doubt it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. New. Matt Riley says Marcus Golden is a free agent. I'm not touching him.
We're not doing that again.
Yeah.
Not
I mean,
that
Just
again.
because you made a mistake earlier doesn't mean you can fix it with a worse mistake. All right?
Yeah, that's some Brian Cashman stuff. Like that's
You can't fix a wrong with a wrong.
Matt wants to bring back the Gettleman crowd.
2 wrongs don't make a right.
Mm-hmm.
Marcus Golden isn't really good against the run. And his last good season was 21. So Giants need to draft a minimum 2 offensive linemen. Yeah, that's definitely. King Twister says, I think my Cowboys would trade Stephon for Trayvon, or at least would trade Stephon and have him play with his little brother. But, yeah. I mean, I don't see where.
I understood what he meant.
Yeah. Matt Riley says he didn't say that, but yeah, I'm not really enthralled by any of these options.
all right. Let's hit corner.
I don't know why they sit here and say that Kaiser White is an edge. He's not.
What? They have him as the edge?
Yeah, look. I mean, it says outside linebacker, but I literally clicked on the category of edge.
Oh yeah. They're just grouping in every outside linebacker then. He's not
Someone
an edge.
was
He's
a
off
bit
ball.
lazy. Okay.
He's an
we
off ball.
said safety,
Calais Campbell. That's a shout. It's a good scheme fit.
right?
Wink
He was with
Martindale guy.
Martindale. I don't know how much he'd be, but
I would like Jordan Poyer.
I wouldn't hate it. I'd be like, that's not too much of a necessity. Campbell 62% of the snaps last year, 5.5 sacks. That's a solid number.
For me, every safety, including Julian Love, every safety is going to just be measuring the value of how much they're going to cost. Because to me, the Giants at that safety spot opposite McKinney is it worth paying you that much to be an upgrade over Dane Belton? And if it's not, then it's not. That's about as far as I'd take it. So,
Right. Mikey says OBJ back to the Cowgirls dropping passes. They weren't even at his workout. So
Breaking news: the Falcons make another big move. Former Saints linebacker Caden Ellis is heading to Atlanta with 7 sacks and 78 tackles and 11 starts.
all right.
sure. Why not?
Luca, you were saying?
Rappaport.
Luca, you were saying something?
Never mind.
Oh, all right. Matt says Jabril Peppers is a depth piece. I don't know if he was good last year, but like 2-3 million, I wouldn't mind. I don't know. I don't see it, to be
You're not
honest.
going to get Jabril Peppers for 2-3 million, I don't think.
Let's have a look and see. Is there anyone else that we like here?
Yeah, so this is the safety room. I'll take Jordan Poyer. Terrell Edmonds, no. He could go.
It's all
with
price
Poyer.
point for me. It's all
Yeah.
price point.
I mean,
And also, some of these guys are just too old for me, straight up.
yeah.
Like I
Taylor
wouldn't
Rapp.
sign Poyer just because he's 31 years old and it doesn't fit our timetable.
I forget who he played with before he went to Buffalo. He played with the Browns and the Eagles. I didn't know that, but now I know. Let's see. Yeah, Eric Rowe, no. Jonathan Abram, probably not.
I got breaking news.
Okay.
The Vikings are signing Marcus Davenport. 1 year,
Wow.
$13 million.
13 million? No, sorry.
But 1
No.
year. That's
1 year.
That's good.
Nah. Not doing that. But thank you, chat, for also keeping up with it. When are we getting receiver? Probably in the draft.
Yeah. If at all.
Yeah, so like this safety, Rodney McLeod, he's 32 though. I'm not doing that. Jerron Harmon was already re-signed. Eric Harris is mid, below average. Yeah, this is a
Keanu Neal?
shit.
Keanu Neal, Ronnie
I would not
Harrison.
touch Keanu Neal.
Let's see here.
Is
Oh,
one
Taylor
third-
Rapp. I like Taylor Rapp.
Taylor Rapp's not bad.
He's mid.
Which one?
I think he's better than Julian Love.
I don't think so. I think they're very similar players.
Mid off.
Yeah, whoever's
Battle-
cheaper, I don't
Battle
care.
of the mid-off.
Yeah. He's the middest of mid since coming in. Definitely not paying $13 million for that. Of course, he's referring to Marcus Davenport. Jacob says, Nate, thoughts on Judy rumors? Would you give up a second for him? I would say
I wasn't going to give up a second at the deadline. I'm not going to give up a second now. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, if he didn't drop the football, he would be a great receiver. And yet, here we are. It's that simple.
We are here on a stream on a Monday night.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to point that out. But also as well, before we go to a different section of free agents that are available, guys, like, comment, subscribe. We got 44 in the chat right now. Also, I put Nate's Twitter in. So if you're someone who's on Twitter, Nate provides knowledgeable takes.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
I just wanted to promote my friend here. As Luca and John are still stressing about all this.
Still scrolling, still refreshing, Just on the
Literally.
grind. On the grind. I respect it.
What up, Lake Nona? No, I wouldn't even give up a second for D-Hop.
Oh, no chance. I'm not giving up a second for D-Hop. There's no way. I mean, the
think
thing is, this trade market, and Brett Coleman, who most people know, tweeted this out.
I know.
With Amari Cooper in his prime getting a fifth, Jalen Ramsey for a third and a backup tight end. Like, what are we talking about here? Trading a second for DeAndre Hopkins, a second for Jerry Jeudy. Like, come on. No.
Bro, yeah, I was about to say, like, Jalen Ramsey got traded for a third-round pick and a box of Apple Jacks.
And Hunter Long, by the way, I want to say, I hope he lives up to what I thought he could be in the draft, because I liked him coming out of Boston College. It's a shame it didn't work out in Miami.
That's a good question from Duran. What is the interior O-line market? Let's take a look.
Sure.
All right, interior offensive line.
I'm thinking Dalton Risner at the top of my head.
Okay. Ben Powers already signed.
Already
so
gone.
cross that off the list. I would say some decent names here.
Samelo.
Sumalo.
Yeah, Samala's probably the best option here, but even he's less than ideal.
It's what is the Giants' plan? You got Bredesen. You
Built
got
through the
Azubu,
draft.
Glowinski. I mean, like you got a shit ton of interiors.
I think they really think that Azudu's going to develop. I think they really believe in him. I don't know why, but I think they really believe in him.
I don't know either, man.
I don't see it with him, but I think they see it, and I guess we just have to see what happens.
I saw more at Bredesen. I thought Bredesen was a little more solid than him.
Max
see what
says
happens.
get John Michael Schmitz.
I love JMS, but we are not going to get him unless we spend a first rounder on him,
Yeah.
because he's going
A
to be
lot of
gone
centers
too
don't
early
go.
in the second for us.
Yeah, a lot of centers don't go in the first.
I could even see him going. I'm thinking same as Scotty Risner. I like Risner. I think Risner.
JMS, by the way, would actually not be the worst thing we could do at 25. I wouldn't like
I
it,
wouldn't mind
but
it.
it wouldn't be the worst thing we could do at 25 for sure. I'd
We
be
could
okay
always
with
take
it.
Tight end.
I'd probably do it just for the fact that he's so good. I think the Steelers will get him, but I wonder where else he could go.
JMS?
I'm just trying to think of some of the teams off the top of my head.
John
Maybe
Michael
some teams
Schmitz?
at the bottom of the draft, like in the first round. I think he could go in the first
Well,
bottom of the first round.
Everyone has already agreed that no matter where he's going, like if as long as he's still on the board, he's not getting past the Bears in the second round. That's what everyone agrees, knows.
Yeah.
That is the absolute floor of where he would go. So it's just a question of who's going to pull the trigger on him.
This is a
I
very
wouldn't be
good comment.
mad. I wouldn't be mad.
Very good comment from Duran. Believing in the current O-line is a disaster that happened in 2021.
Yeah, we need serious upgrades. I would consider Risner. Who else can we think of here?
Throw Lemieux off the team.
Lemieux hurts me. Like I liked him so much coming out of college, and he just never got a chance to develop because of those damn injuries. I thought he could have been a decent guard.
Yeah. Matt says,
Oh,
I'd rather
Luca's raising a finger.
Speaking of Draymond Jones, he has just signed with the Seattle Seahawks.
Seahawks.
There you go.
I mean, that's a solid pickup.
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
It's fine.
The Giants have just given up and just gone home.
I'm not expecting any other defensive line moves, Donald.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna go after anything
It's going
else.
to be in the
significant.
draft or, someone drafted free agency.
I was
Yeah,
not
but-
expecting us to go out and sign people this offseason. I thought it was going to be one
I was
linebacker.
expecting at least one
depth.
move.
Yeah, I think our one move was Okereke.
Yeah, and we might
Well,
not even.
why?
Because this isn't the year for it. We don't have that much cap flexibility.
Next year, and this is kind of as much as I hated them not going after Edwards or Edmonds. It's like this is kind of the new norm.
Right. Here's where I'm at, though. Right.
All right,
You
tell us how
basically
you
got-
really feel.
You've kind of got Daniel Jones for about 2 years, right? It's a
Mhm.
2-year deal to get the
Mhm.
best out of him.
Mhm.
So you're going to have to get some serious talent in the building to make the most of Daniel Jones. Otherwise, what's the point in even signing him to this big extension? I mean, what was the point in moving the cap to 45 in year 2 if you weren't going to do something in year 1 and get some talent, serious talent in the building in this window right here? Because I think it's going to be a 2 to 3 year window. You know, so we tagged Saquon. We've not extended him just yet, so that's still a little bit up in the air. You know, I think that my personal opinion, and it's actually more of a compliment to Dable and Kafka and Martindale. I think we've got C-minus talent on this team, and I think Brian Dable raised it to like B+. That's how good he was. That's how phenomenal coaching was.
Yeah.
We need to get some serious talent in the building. In the draft, we need to get some cornerstone talents in the building. And in free agency, we really need to start getting some talent in the building. So if it meant stocking up in the D line, which you can never go wrong with having, you can never have too many D linemen. You can never have enough edge, in my opinion. Like, we didn't really look at the Eagles game. We didn't pressure the quarterback at all in that game.
To be
So
fair,
I-
that's less about us and more about them.
Well, of course, but there was a bunch of occasions all year long where we weren't, right? So I think that we could get proper talent in the building, man. And I think that Joe James kind of just wanted to roll it back. And I think that rolling it back is a huge, huge misjudgment.
I think you're underestimating how much we're getting back on the defensive front from injuries next year. We lost a bunch of talent to season-long injuries, a lot of young talent in the middle of the defensive line to season-long injuries, like 2-3 guys, something like that. And yeah, we could probably use a third edge, but I think we can get one in the draft. And I think it's a bigger mistake to pay a contract that you're going to regret than it is to wait and be patient and find the best option.
Mm-hmm.
That's my opinion.
Well, just to answer Matt's question, how does D-line make LD? Well, you get a great defense and there's less pressure. on it.
Adding talent anywhere helps.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talent
Especially
is talent. Oh, gosh.
Got some numbers in the Draymond Jones thing. 3 years, 48 mil.
That's math. That's 16 mil a year. Let's see what his stats look like.
18 guaranteed.
6.5 sacks is his career high. So, I guess that's mid. Jacob says Donald because we have over 110 million cap space next year. That's why. Well, also we have to take into account that that's gonna be used for
Yeah,
D-Law,
I've done the math on this.
Andrew Thomas.
I've done the math on this reasonably, and this is going to sound like a big window, but there's a lot of variables. Reasonably, next year with extensions and such, assuming we don't make any huge splashes that I'm not foreseeing, we should, after all the extensions are said and done next year, have about 35-40 in cap for free agency.
Yeah, so not nearly 110.
Right, with Andrew Thomas, and obviously.
Yeah. But that's still a big number. You have to understand. 35 to 40 for free agency is a big number in clean dollars.
Yeah, not dirty dollars, clean dollars.
That's what it is.
How is Juju still a free agent? I wouldn't even worry about Juju. I'm not getting him. But here from this list, well, who would I get? I'd probably get Saffold's too old. Sumalo is probably my top guy here.
It's Sumalo and not much else for me.
Risner, maybe. I know Donald likes him. Yeah, and everyone else seems to look like trash.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's what happens when you sit out free agency.
What's another wide receiver? Well, let's better yet look at
Oh
that.
no! Oh no! Please no!
We're painting you, Art. I wouldn't take Cody Ford. The Bills didn't even like him, so
No.
No, Cody Ford's trash. No.
Yeah, trash ass. Chris says Hardman would trade for Judy.
No.
I would.
No.
I mean, I like. I would. I would be enthralled about both, but I'm not trading a second for Judy. I would not take Michael Jordan, despite his
I don't want Hardman or Judy, man. This is such a terrible receiver year. Ugh.
DJ Chark, Campbell.
Okay.
How do you
let's
feel about
this.
him, Nate? Because I know we're on polar opposites, me and Donald. Like, for me, he's talented, but he's never on the field.
Who?
Paris Campbell.
We're not polar opposites at all. I'm just trying to look for maybe some lightning in a bottle.
Campbell, it depends on his price tag. I mean, if he's going to try and capitalize on a big year last year, for quotation marks around big, if he's going to try and capitalize on a big year last year, no. But if it's at the right price point, sure. But you have to understand the right price point for Paris Campbell is like wide receiver 3, tops. And
Yeah.
I would understand wanting to get more guys in the mix, so I'd be fine with it. But I'm not paying him significant dollars. No way.
Who's DJ going to throw to? The janitor? Yeah, I mean, we need to rebuild the wide receiver room. So we do need to enter free agency and bring in somebody for the slot or on the outside as a number 2 guy.
It's a tough year.
So either DJ Chark, Campbell, or Nicole Hardman. I don't want Nelson Aguilar. That was a guy that
God.
Jordan ran
Please
on.
no. Please,
Jordan
no.
Rannon mentioned the Giants like Nelson Aguilar. I don't like
If
him.
we
Terrible.
signed Nelson Aguilar, I would jump off a bridge.
Yeah, I'd be pissed. He's dreadful.
I
I
would
don't want
jump
Jacoby
with-
Myers either.
Mid.
I don't want
Mid.
Jacoby Myers. Alan Lazard. What do you guys think of Lazard?
Nah.
I like
I
him
like-
as a. I like
I'd
him.
be I'd
I
be
like
fine with that signing because he's not going to take significant money to bring in. Like I wouldn't be mad.
What was your point, Luca?
Well, two things. I was going to say answer Lazard, and I was going to ask Nate a question. Lazard, I like him as a big body guy. You guys don't do a lot of 50-50 balls, so I don't think he fits, but he's a very good run blocker right here. And the question I had for Nate was, do you not want Hartman because of price range?
Well, part of it is price range because it sounds like he's going to get more than he should, but I also just don't think he's good. He doesn't run routes, very simply, and we all know that you need more than to be fast in the NFL, and he's fast, sure. Like he's a great gunner on special teams, I'll give him that, but he's not a good receiver, and I don't want him if he's not a good receiver. So that's about it for my take on Mecole Hardman.
I don't think Juju would only sign a 1-year deal now. I'd be shocked if he did.
He's
I
done
think-
too many
The 1-year
1 years.
deal was done last year in order to prove himself and prove his health. I think he'd probably sign a multi-year deal.
Right.
I'm also not sure I could stomach him in a Giants uniform.
No, I don't want Juju at all. I'm just answering that question. I don't want him at all. No way.
We got a team clearing cap space, and that is the New York Jets. They are converting $6 million of John Frank Lamar's base salary into signing bonus, creating $4.8 million in cap space. I know you guys are not Jet fans, but that's just important to know for the whole.
Well, yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
We brought up the
Oh,
Bills.
that's important, man. Yeah. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Give us all the Jets news. We want it.
Even if it comes when it's Jet fans tracking the coaching staff's flight to California, which was insanely odd.
Almighty, would you trade for Tyler Boyd? He's a slot guy rather than an
Nah.
outside guy.
He's a really good wide receiver 3.
Yeah.
There's so many Tyler Boyds in this draft class. So many. I think a
That's
lot of
wrong.
people that haven't looked at this draft don't understand just how middle heavy the receiver class is. Because I don't know if there's a single guy that I would be ecstatic about in the first round, but there are so many, so many, that you could take anywhere from the top of the second down and be like, yeah, that's my wide receiver too. Maybe he could develop into a wide receiver 1. There's so many slot guys in this draft too. There's 1,000 slot receivers in this draft. That's why I say there's 1,000 Tyler Boyds. So there's so many complementary options. Like, yeah, I mean, I'm just taking a look at chat. Someone said the wide receivers are all midget slots. Yep, that's correct. There's
Not many people
so
above
many.
6-0.
So Luca, how much money with the John Franklin Myers do we have now in total?
We have at least 19 million in cap space just with that.
Are you
What's
sure?
Rodgers' cap hit?
Rodgers is 15 mil.
Oh, that's not bad.
I'm
For
sorry,
this
it's
year.
Aaron Rodgers?
Yes, Aaron
Yeah, for
Rodgers'
this year.
cap hit this year is $15 million. Next year's
That's-
32.
That's interesting.
It's like weirdly
It's backloaded?
structured.
Yeah, I'm going to guess it's backloaded.
I don't know about
Um,
all that.
Yeah.
Almighty says, is Jordan Addison a wide receiver 1?
I so don't like Jordan Addison, and I know everyone loves him. I see why. I do. Because he runs good routes, and he's a fast guy. He's a long strider. He's not going to blow you away with his wild take the top off speed, but he's got enough NFL speed to play outside. The problem is he just gets bullied all over the field constantly. Like, I need people to watch the Oregon State game to understand what I'm talking about, because it was so brutal watching him in that game. Just like, people think when I say that, people always say, well, yeah, but he's not going to face press every rep. I'm not just talking about press. Like, yeah, in press, he gets jammed at the line and taken out of his route immediately. But even just carrying the route, he gets knocked around so easy and just beaten up in the route, taken off his route stem, taken out of the play at the top of the route. Like, no matter where he is on the field, it feels like he's struggling physically, and I just hate it. So maybe it can work. Maybe if he learns to use his hands more effectively, I guess. But like, he just gets bullied so hard. And everything else about him, that's why he's so frustrating to me, is everything else about him is great, but he just gets killed physically. And I hate to see that. Diggy, if you think so, sure. Like, if we draft him, I'll be hoping for the best. And I could see it working, but I don't get it.
Yeah.
Who said that Bude was a slot? No, first of all. Flowers is probably my wide receiver 1 in this class. He is a slot to me. It's hard to get a ton of tape on him, so I can't speak on his release package. So, like, if his release package is as dynamite as some people are saying, maybe he could have some outside versatility, but as his size, you really want him just to stay in the slot, and he's a great receiver. So I could definitely see him being the best receiver in this class.
Yeah. I
That
think if
being said,
Addison could
Flowers.
bulk up to 190, 195 from his 174, he could end up being really good.
No, but if he bulks up to 190 from 174, he's losing a lot of his shiftiness and he's losing a lot of his movement skills. Like, people talk about putting on weight like, number 1, like it's the easiest thing in the world. Number 2, like it's not going to affect the rest of their game. Like, yeah, he could. He could bulk up to 190 and be a 2-pack of ass. He could. I don't know why he would, but that's a thing he could do for sure.
JSN, Quentin Johnson, and Jordan Addison, the only wide receiver 1s in the draft. Bootsy, maybe.
Is Jigba really a 1? I'm asking a curious question. Is he really a 1?
So my take on it is Jackson Smith-Njigba is a carbon copy of Keenan Allen. They are the same guy. Same frame, same skill set, same physical ability, same play style, same route running, same injury history. I think they are exactly the same guy. And I think Keenan is a really, really good player, but he is also a super slot. So it depends on, some people say that slot receivers can't be wide receiver 1s. I disagree, but I think JSN is Keenan Allen. So that'd be my answer.
Diggy says he's training with him this offseason, getting that weight up without losing speed. We're going to go up to 205, dogs.
That's
JSN
funny.
or Addison, Scotty asks.
JSN for me.
It's the same dude. Zay Flowers.
Diggy, I'm assuming you mean the same dude as in JSN and Keenan Allen, right? Because
I guess.
Yes, correct.
Zay Flowers put on like 15, 20 pounds over the past month. I doubt he'll lose some of the shiftiness. Zay Flowers.
Zay Flowers is a good receiver. I thought it was closer to like 10. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is 15 pounds. But I mean, we'll see. Maybe.
And I know
To
we
me,
didn't.
Addison doesn't have the frame for it, but we'll see.
One more thing, maybe before we close out this free agent class here and just talk some maybe general NFL or whatever. Jacob asked it earlier and I didn't get to it, and I know you and me think the same on this. Trenton Thompson, Jesus Christ, that's a safety for the Giants. Trenton Simpson.
That makes a little more sense. I was going to say, I don't have a ton of thoughts about Trenton Johnson, but, oh, sorry, I'm fighting a sneeze. Trenton Simpson, I think, was a guy that a lot of us were hopeful for this past season going into the year. Like, I watched a little bit of his tape last season because I looked at our depth chart and said, oh, those are our linebackers. Okay. So I was already looking at Simpson last year, and I was really encouraged by some of his tape. And Diggy, who is in chat, was someone I was also talking to about this. He has some plays where he looks really good. He triggers really well on some of them. He moves well north-south. But then the majority of the rest of his plays, as he so helpfully points out, are terrible. He just gets washed out so easily. His physicality is spotty. He doesn't look like he knows where he is on the field at a lot of times. And in general, he's just not as good as he should be. I mean, maybe part of that is Clemson, but whether it's Clemson or not, it's just not good.
All right, so apparently
Puerto Rico threw a perfect
Puerto
game.
Rico threw a no hitter.
Did they really?
Yes.
A no-hitter, okay.
Oh,
That's
okay.
crazy.
I knew they had no hits. I didn't know it was a perfect game because I have it on my background right now. But
Thank you
Did I
for
hear
your-
correctly that USA got absolutely embarrassed?
They got manhandled by Mexico yesterday.
yeah, oof.
Ugh, that's tragic.
Oh, what was the score?
It was like 11 to like 5.
It was
11-5,
bad.
something like that.
They were like down 7-1 or 7-2, something like that.
Their pitching sucks. Their pitching is very lower than mid. They have good bats.
Who do they have on the staff?
Nick Martinez pitched yesterday. Brady Singer from the Royals pitched yesterday. I'll have to pull
How
it
come
up.
we have all these stars in the lineup and we can't get a pitcher?
I don't know. That's a great question.
It's called a question I can't
Great Britain,
answer.
like 6-2.
Yeah, 6-2.
Like Great Britain don't know anything about baseball. I don't even think they know what it is.
What's his name?
I'll say this: their uniforms were just hideous.
Yeah, I know,
so
they're
good
like-
for them.
The letters were falling off the jerseys.
They
Trace
look like a
Thompson.
little league team, really.
Where Trace Thompson was on the Brit team, so was Vance Worley. The pitchers for the USA were
Vince
Nick
Worley's prime was like 100 years ago.
He didn't even have a prime.
It's a
Nick
good
Marti-
point. Duran says the Great Britain team knows cricket.
Good for them.
It was their cricket team.
That's
Nick's-
their baseball.
It was Nick Martinez and Brady Singer giving up the majority of the runs, and Daniel Bard too.
No bueno. Matt says it was against Israel. Is it surprising that they got no hit?
Who does Israel even have?
Jock Peterson.
Really? Is he really? I didn't even know that. Being honest.
I forgot. There's people that call him Jewish Jock. That's a thing. I'm not joking.
Hey, I'm more than 1%, so I could laugh. Okay. Let's see. Israel WBC team. Let's look this up.
I'm not 1% and I still laugh.
Richard Blyer, he sucks. Adam Kolarek, he sucks. Ryan Lavarnway, he sucks.
I haven't had the heart to follow baseball in so long now, so I can't even speak to this really.
Wasn't
you're on
LeVar
the
Way
same-
the former
you're on the
catcher
same
on the
team
Red
as
Sox?
Donald. What was that?
Wasn't LeVar Way like the former catcher on the Red Sox? If I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken. Yeah.
He signed. He also was a former Yankee, minor league wise. Let's see. Jesus Christ, Danny Valencia, he sucks. Ty Kelly, don't know who that is. Jock Peterson, that's the only name, and the manager is Ian Kinsler.
Wow.
Very terrible.
Very terrible.
Kevin Youkilis is the hitting coach. Brad Osmus is the bench coach.
Kevin Youkilis is the hitting coach.
Yes.
The dude couldn't hit in his career. All he could do
No
is
wonder
walk.
they got perfect gamed.
All he could do is walk. He was a Greek god of walks. He wasn't the Greek god of hits, for Christ's sake, and he became the hitting coach.
I mean, when you don't, it's not. I mean, it's not as like the Czech Republic where, they had like plumbers and factory workers on the team. But
Good for those factory workers, bro.
yeah,
Going on the trip of a lifetime. How about it?
yeah. You're not missing much, Nate. All the league is strikeouts and walks, says Matt Riley.
Yeah, I mean, baseball isn't really baseball anymore.
Nope.
He's
Ease
right.
what it is.
And especially with the Yankees, they like doing stuff to us.
The
emotionally.
Yankees are so infuriating year in, year out that I think the best decision I've ever made related to that team was to stop paying attention, which I did after the end of last year.
Hey, I think you were even though. What was I going to say? Even though you weren't in our section, you were at the no hitter.
I was, very sadly.
Yeah, that's where me and him met for the first time.
Correct.
Oh my god.
And that was a frustrating game, to say the least, but whatever.
That's
Were
where I
you in
was
the beating
screaming,
sun
"You're a
like
big
we were?"
first-place
Yeah,
team."
I was.
Is it that time for
I think
someone?
my Stanton jersey, like 6 rows in front of me.
Is it that time to revisit the anniversary for certain someone on this panel?
Could be. I'll leave it to the panel to decide.
What am I
Um,
missing here?
My vote's yes.
Luca, what do you think?
Have at it.
Or do you want to discuss the football some more? First of all,
Well, I mean,
I was
you
gonna
guys can keep the questions coming in the chat, no matter what. So
I was
and
gonna
we're gonna-
possibly.
look
I
at
was
Okay.
gonna
Go
possibly say grade the signings,
okay,
yeah, let's do
the
it.
most important ones. Okay.
okay.
Yeah, the bigger.
All right, so I'll start out with this one because this one's at the top of my head. Jimmy Garoppolo to the Raiders.
I really like the fit, honestly, in my opinion.
B plus, actually B minus.
I'm gonna go B plus for the contract.
I'm going to be plus for the contract. I think the contract is an absolute steal. $25 million for Garoppolo is a good steal.
B minus. I don't really think he's the future in Houston anyway. So
Houston, Vegas.
sorry. Vegas. Sorry.
Are you okay tonight, John?
No.
Clearly not. Have you been
Great.
paying attention, Alex?
No.
He's Aaron Rodgers is in his head and is
Yeah, exactly.
Literally, no.
Where do you
he's
think his
right.
mind
no,
is?
You're 100% right on that. I'm sorry. I apologize, Vegas. All right. I know Jimmy G went to you. Relax.
All right, so that's
I still call him Oakland anyway.
Same shit.
That's fair.
Jesse Bates to the Falcons.
Remind me how much it was?
Luca, you mind?
Jesse Bates was $16 million a year for 4 years, so about $64 million.
It's a lot of money.
It's a bit of an overpay.
Money.
But he's a very.
I'll give it a B.
All right, yeah, I'll give it a solid
I
B.
think he's a good player, very good player.
B
I'd say an A minus.
Okay.
for the contract, $16 million.
For a player, I mean,
Bates is a
16
good
mil a
player,
year
though.
is steep.
it's. But again, like you're a team with like cap space. I mean, you might.
I mean,
you
it's
might as
the
well-
typical bad team that overspends on the really good player. Because again, we saw that with the Bears and
I think he's a
Tremaine
phenomenal
Edmonds.
safety, Jesse Bates.
No, I'm not saying he's not. It's just I think $16 million per year is steep.
We'll
Yeah.
see. I mean,
Yep.
we'll see how the contract plays out.
With most of the other options out the window, if you don't get Rodgers, Jets fans, what is it then?
Lamar or Tank, and I'm not joking about the Tank part.
Sadness.
Give up.
It's sadness for Jets
Lamar or
fans.
Tank.
Give up.
If they get anything other than Rodgers or Lamar this year, you might as well just
Give up.
tank every game and go for Caleb Williams.
I will not go to one game. I will not go to one game. I will.
If y'all don't get Aaron Rodgers, the first thing that you're gonna say is obviously Lamar or Tank. Sure, makes sense. But I think the more important question, simply because the answer is funnier, is who will actually play quarterback for the season during the tank?
That fucking scares me.
That's
No,
what I want
I
to know.
don't. I really don't want to enter that reality right now.
Whose
Or that-
jersey is Alex gonna get you for Christmas, Luca? That's the question we need to ask.
If it's Aaron Rodgers, I'll be fine. If it's anything else than Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson, I'm throwing it out. and then not refunding Alex's money.
Where is this Strevler jersey gonna end up? Is the question.
Oh my God, Mike.
My goodness, we can trade Tyrod if you want him.
No.
He's available.
No.
He's made it. He made the playoffs a few years ago. You guys remember that?
He's a dude. Hey, listen, Tyrod's for sure. He's a guy. You know, when you have a guy on your team that you want to become your franchise, you sign Tyrod Taylor. That's what you do. You got to understand that. The Bills did it with Josh Allen. The Chargers did it with Justin Herbert. The Giants did it with Daniel Jones. If you sign Tyrod Taylor, Zach Wilson is going to be signing a $45 million contract next year. That's just what it is.
That's disgusting. Are you kidding me?
I'm not sure if the Daniel Jones stands will like that too much.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that one. Duran says, "Is Mormon boy still on the roster?"
Yes, he's still
The Mormon
roster.
MILF hunter.
We still have.
Actually, Nick, we haven't asked that. I haven't asked you that. What did you think of Daniel Jones' contract? Would you have tagged him, or are you happy with the contract?
It's too much. I think a lot of it goes into their decision making in the front office, and it speaks to how they feel about things. And if they really think that Daniel Jones is their guy, and they think we can win a Super Bowl with Daniel Jones while paying him that much money, then I guess we just gotta have a little bit of faith. But I didn't want to do it. I wouldn't have. I would have way sooner traded up for Anthony Richardson because I have been one of his biggest supporters for a long, long time. But 40 is just too much a year for Daniel Jones. I like that it's essentially a 2-year deal.
Yeah.
That's smart. That's just common sense. But
Would you have tagged him?
I think so. I think I would have tagged him instead of giving him the contract.
Yeah.
Just because it as painful as it is, and I spent a lot of time before this past season advocating against the franchise tag for Jones. As painful as it is, with the way the dominoes fell this year, it just ends up being the right decision to me. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Listen, I'm with you, man. I got ripped apart for saying it the other day, but I would have given him the non-exclusive tag. I would have had him test the market because he originally came in with, from what I read on SI, he was looking for like 47, 48 mil, and the Giants were willing to pay him 35. So I guess 40 was the middle marker. The only thing that I will say is it looks like the way that the kind of cap hit is more like 37.5 with all the incentives and stuff like that. So it's not awful. It's just I would have given him the non-exclusive tag. I would have had him test the market because, listen, if the Ravens are willing to do that with Lamar, then why the hell are the Giants so? Also, did Daniel Jones do that much other than like in the last third of the year? I thought the first 2/3 of the year we never really trusted him.
No. The first 2/3 of the year, we were all very confident he wouldn't be back next year.
Exactly. And so when did it all change? Just because he went crazy against the Vikings, the Colts, two of the worst defensive teams in football. I mean, it's not the best barometer for a quarterback because in the games where he played a good defense, like the Cowboys and the Eagles and you name it, he struggled. What do you think about that?
I think Jones is a guy that has been linearly improving for the last year and a half, I would say. And I think that's about all you can ask for under the circumstances. But at the same time, the question really does become what is his ceiling and how far can you get him to go? Mm-hmm. And that's more of a question for Dabes and Kafka, I would say, because the biggest problem with Jones to me this past year, the biggest problem by a country mile, was missed opportunities in the sense that he really just wasn't letting it rip deep, which I think the question becomes, is that a Jones problem or is it an everything else problem? Because it's very easy to see how it could be either. Because from Daniel Jones' perspective, I don't think I would trust the receivers that he had any more than he did. So if
No,
that's
that's
what
true.
it is, fair enough. If that's the problem, then absolutely, let's go get some guys that he can trust that are going to get open and get separation and that are going to have the hands to come down with those 50-50 balls or whatever we want to do, however they decide to make it work. Let's get the talent that he'll trust and have him go let it rip. Or if it really was a thing that the coaching staff was enforcing that limit on him, they wanted him to make high percentage throws or whatever, I guess. But I really don't buy that because everything we saw on the sidelines was Dabes walking up to him saying, hey, if you see it, let it rip. If you like it, let it rip. Like, just don't be afraid, you know? And the idea that that's just for show is ridiculous to me. So I don't think it's that. And at the end of the day, we need to have those explosive plays. So if we think Jones, for whatever the reason was, can eliminate that problem and start making those throws and start capitalizing on those opportunities, then yeah, it'll be fine. At that point, you're getting production for what you're paying. But if not, if we're at or near his ceiling in terms of productivity, it's a big problem because a lot of people look at stats and they get really aggressive about things and they don't understand why stats are a thing. Because yes, it's important that you have the film and that you're looking at the player, not the numbers next to his name. But the numbers are an indicator of what you're getting out of that player. At the end of the day, games are won with points. And if you're not scoring them, you're not winning. The best way to score points is through explosive plays. And if you're not getting explosive plays, you're not sustaining drives, you're not getting a high red zone percentage, you're not getting yourself in a position to win games. And the way to get those explosive plays, almost unanimously in the league, is agreed to be through the air, through the deep pass. So if you're not getting it, you're not winning. It's just what it is.
I think that Chris Mara actually gave away much of our leverage in negotiations when he said at the start of the offseason that he was our guy for long term.
You mean Sean?
So I don't know if that helped us really. I think he meant more to the organization than he would around the league. That's why I would have had him test free agency and I with the tag so that we were still keeping a hold of him, but we can match any offer and then negotiate down once he tests the market. I think I would have done that because look, you have the stats. How many teams win the Super Bowl with a guy in their second contract?
2 quarterbacks in their second contract.
I've seen this.
Steve Young and Len Dawson were the only guys to get better in their second year in their second contracts and win a Super Bowl.
Exactly. And that says it all, man. Like the thing is, I'm all about like having the highest possible ceiling when you're in a rebuild, which we still are. I think we got a little bit caught up in the fun of making the playoffs and stuff like that. I think I think it's maybe changed our original plan. I think our original plan was to rebuild fully, including getting a new quarterback in the building, and that's why we didn't pick up his 5th-year option. So normally, if you rebuild and you're trying to win a Super Bowl, it isn't to extend an average quarterback big money. Normally you put a kind of a ceiling to your rebuild pretty much immediately. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. I know a lot of people disagree, but a lot of our panel kind of agrees, I think.
John, you were about to say?
The Bears have signed another guy. They have signed defensive end DeMarcus Walker, who came forward from the for the Titans.
Depth.
A two-year deal with
Depth.
$7 million per year.
Yeah.
He had
Depth.
7 sacks last year. He's not bad.
It's good stuff for them.
That's
in response to Donald, I think when you're looking at those things, I don't really think it's a great idea to be measuring based on the past with those things because any sample, and I understand the weight of this statement, any sample in regards to what it takes to win the Super Bowl in the last 20 years, throw it out the window because the data is polluted. The data is polluted by Tom Brady. So when you're looking at this modern era of football and what it takes to win a Super Bowl, you can't really measure that by the last 20 years because no data scientist would look at a sample of 20 outcomes, half of which were determined by Tom Brady because in a 20-year sample size, Tom Brady played in half of those Super Bowls and won 7 of them. So that data is not as trustworthy as I might like it to be. But in general, with regards to the quarterback on the second contract thing, taking up a high percentage of your cap obviously makes things very difficult. But I don't think it's the end-all be-all. I think there's a lot of other factors that go into it, and the bigger reason to me that teams haven't won it with their second quarterback is just because of how fucking difficult it is to win a Super Bowl in the first place. It's not just teams with a second quarterback contract that aren't winning it. It's almost any team in general is not winning it. People underestimate, and I know how dumb this sounds when I say it, just how difficult it is to win a Super Bowl. You have to win 4 games in a row to get there. It's not easy. So the best team doesn't always win it. I don't even know if the best team usually wins it. So a lot of it is just getting as many bites at the apple as you can, buying as many lottery tickets as you can, and that's why people extend quarterbacks in the first place. Otherwise, everyone would just be drafting a rookie and getting as many expensive players around him as you can.
I just think that you want to take advantage of the rookie.
I agree. Yeah.
Window. That's kind of the window you want to do. And all those guys that people are mentioning here in the chat, Peyton, Eli, Rodgers, I mean, they all proven themselves within the first initial contract, Eli included. Eli won 11 games in his second year. Daniel Jones is still yet to prove anything, and we're now going into his second contract. That's more my point rather than whether he can improve or not. I think he can improve.
I mean, I just think that there's emotionally looking at it and there's rationally looking at it. And at the end of the day, if that logic was strong enough to use as the basis for the decision, then no one would be re-signing quarterbacks at all. So I think if it's about the team on a second quarterback contract winning the Super Bowl, that's not really valid to me. I think it's a consideration that teams make, for sure, with the distribution of your cap dollars, because that's always going to be in the forefront of any general manager's mind. But I don't think that's the impetus to make a franchise-altering decision. To me, it was just that I liked Anthony Richardson. I really still do. I think he's going to be a franchise-changing talent for any team that has the means to develop him. And I liked him for Big Blue. I thought Brian Dable and Mike Kafka were the perfect guys to turn him into what he could be. I still think that, but obviously now it's off the table.
Me too. I wanted a new quarterback, a fresh start. I really did.
I understand. I understand where you come from.
Brady won. It's a dumb point. No. What I'm talking about is you extend elite quarterbacks. You don't just extend average quarterbacks, in my opinion.
Like, what was Steve Young before the 49ers? He wasn't that great. I know
What do you mean
this is
before
like
the 49ers?
He played with the Bucks.
Yeah, but not like that wasn't his significant thing. Like before the 49ers, it wasn't Steve Young.
No, I understand.
He was Steve Young when he was on the 49ers. Like that was his career.
Yeah, but the only reason it was just because they had Montana at the time, so it's like you're not gonna.
How many
we got
more
some problems on the screen.
QBs and rookie deals have won a Super Bowl in the last 10 years? Russ and Mahomes.
Look, I'm good with extending elite quarterbacks. Top 10 quarterbacks, pay them whatever they want. But quarterbacks in the 15 to 25 range, giving them $40 million, no, not for me. Thanks.
That one. He's going with pick 3 in Hall picks that the Bears got from the Panthers, and that was only 1-9. I imagine 25-3.
Do we want to go back to grading the rest of the big signings?
Matt has a comment about AR.
Yeah, I touched on this.
Oh, you drafted Anthony Richardson.
It's funny we always go back to this debate, even though we.
Okay. Hold on. First of all, I disagree with your point about Anthony Richardson. But second of all, how is that in the same situation as Jones? Those aren't Jones's problems. Are you talking about like when Jones was a rookie and his last like couple seasons before this year? Because then Jones was a turnover.
Maybe he's talking about. I mean, that doesn't even last part.
That doesn't even make sense.
The last part. I mean, I've not studied Richardson's game. I guess he's talking about like surrounding talent because you're going to need to like box up picks and send them to whoever the fuck for top 3. So I guess, I mean, as I said, I think I don't. You think the Panthers are taking with number 1? Could be Young. I think it's Young or Stroud. If it's Richardson, I wouldn't be surprised either.
I think it's Stroud.
Definitely QB.
I do like Stroud. Stroud's good.
AR looks like crap against my dogs. Hard to say he'll be great. Still a risk. I wouldn't trade up from 26 to get. I mean, it's a hypothetical conversation. It's a philosophical conversation that obviously Giant fans like to have, or they don't like to have, whatever. But I mean,
well, first of all, with the thing against Georgia, everyone looks bad against Georgia. Georgia's defense is so stupidly talented that everyone looks bad against them. Let's be real, bro.
NFL defense. That's
yeah. But
sure.
With Anthony Richardson, the thing is, a lot of people have this misconception that Anthony Richardson is like Malik Willis level raw, which he's not, because he has some really good anticipation throws in his catalog. And the accuracy is not the problem, the consistency is the problem. And people who understand quarterback play understand that when you're looking at his accuracy and consistency, it's because of his footwork. His footwork is terrible. His footwork, I would go so far as to say, his footwork is the reason he's not the number 1 pick in this draft. Because it's garbage. And whoever drafts him is going to have to completely start from scratch on that aspect of his mechanics. That's why he isn't the first quarterback off the board in this draft, most likely. That's why he's not the slam dunk number 1 pick, because he is stupidly talented. The thing is, I wouldn't be pushing for Anthony Richardson like I have been with the Giants with other teams, because other teams don't have the confidence in their ability to develop him. And if you don't, it's a waste of a pick. But with the Giants, with a coaching staff that has a guy like Brian Dable and a guy like Mike Kafka, who understand how to shield a guy with those concerns until you can work them out of him. So you're surviving while those concerns are still there, and then once you've fixed it, you can move on to more open offensive principles. When you're looking at that, it makes a lot more sense than a team like, and I love you when I say this, guys, than the Jets, who openly acknowledge they can't develop quarterbacks. When you're looking at a guy like Anthony Richardson, who a lot of the pieces of the puzzle are there, and you just need to add those last few to get clearly an elite level talent at quarterback, that's how I like to look at prospects.
Yeah. I agree. I think he's got a higher ceiling than
by miles. By miles. He's got the highest ceiling in this draft by forever.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of why I'm on the same train as you, man. Is like, if I was looking at who I would have considered as a quarterback, I think he's got a much higher ceiling than Daniel Jones exponentially. And so that's why I would have taken a risk and made a move for him. So that's kind of more my point. Why not just go all out and try and get the highest possible ceiling quarterback with a great coach like Dable instead of settling for a 15 to 20 quarterback?
Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna cut this off because, well, I mean, I don't want the I mean, it's a philosophical debate to have, and I do, but I don't pick a side. But anyway, kind of.
Can't pick a side. God
this is fence riding Alex. Fence riding Alex making an appearance.
Give me a freaking break with
again.
Fence riding Alex.
Just say we're gonna
taking shells here, man. Because
just say
we're
gonna move on. We're gonna move on. We are going to go away from the subject. This has been debated how many times before.
Okay. All right. Any more final thoughts on NFL free agency? That's not a debate that causes this much tension. Any more final thoughts on free agency? How about that? I guess that's a no.
I'm good.
All right. Let's see. Because I want to see if I missed any questions. Who do you think the Giants and Jets will take in the first round? I think wide receiver for the Giants.
Who the hell knows?
Offensive tackle, my personal opinion, but we'll wait.
The Jets.
We
got to see if we have. Well, we got to see.
Mark Davis should be forced to sell the team. He should be forced to shave his head.
He did.
I didn't know that. Well, I mean,
Didn't know that.
Didn't know that. Thank you, Nick, for the knowledge. But I guess, I mean, I'm gonna say this just outright because, things. This is going to be a shorter episode than we usually do. A, because it's impromptu. B, because we were, doing a stream for 4 hours today. So just wanted to put that out there. Usually, if you're new to the channel, I know there's a ton of new people. We usually do this for about 3-4 hours, but it's going to be a little bit shorter today. I could definitely hope because, I kind of want us all to rest as well. You were saying, John?
One thing to Luca. The
Yes.
Jets, there's about 2-3 hours ago an article that came out that they are targeting Adam Thielen as a possible wideout.
Was that a Carton rumor? I swear if that was a Carton rumor.
I don't think it came.
Rumor. It's
He knows nothing, Carton. He
It's
knows
back.
nothing.
But I'm not talking about him. I'm just saying there was an actual article. I don't know if it was based.
I don't know
on
who the source is, so I got to check that out. But I wouldn't.
I would like the idea of it.
If y'all sign Adam Thielen, I will laugh so hard.
Why? As a third option?
Why?
Because there's no reason to. There's no reason to sign him at this point,
honestly.
But
Why?
He's old and washed, dude.
as a third option.
No.
But why are you going out and spending money on that then? If you want a third option so
If
bad,
he's too expensive, then that's fine. Then I completely
I'm not saying
agree.
break
I
his bank,
guess.
but if he's the third option, I assume they're going to cut or trade away Corey Davis.
Yeah, that's true. You don't forget Lazard is still out there. But again, we'll revisit this another day.
Yeah, probably like next week or something. I could probably tell. Let's see. Jets are hooked on a Thielen. Well, yeah, that's a good pun. If he signs, then Rodgers is close to coming. They're apparently close friends. Wouldn't be surprised. They spent all the years in the same division, so competing against each other, whatever. I guess we'll end with two separate topics, sports related. What was I going to say? Donald, there's an anniversary that you want to cover?
Yes, it is. So
Sit back for this one.
a
It's going to be good.
year ago today, people, there was a massive move made by Brian Cashman, and move aside.
oh no!
Yep.
Please
There we
no.
Move aside Esteban Loaiza and his 8.50 ERA when the Yankees traded for him. Move aside when we traded away Jay Buhner. And how about when we traded for Javier Vasquez twice? Not once, but twice, and that was an absolute disaster. Or when the Yankees traded Fred McGriff, multiple All-Star for absolutely nobody. But it doesn't matter because by far the very worst trade in the history of the New York Yankees, the most important franchise in sports. The sports franchise been going for 100 years strong. Won more championships than anyone else by a distance. The most important, iconic, historic team in sports made the very worst trade in the history of its organization last year today. Josh Donaldson and IKF. Where Brian Cashman was sitting there like, what can I do to screw up this team today? And, everyone says that philosophy, well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Brian Cashman's the opposite. If it ain't broke, I'm going to fix it. And he got rid of Gio Urshela, who is a fantastic third baseman, who gave you everything you could possibly need. That dude was jumping in the stands like Jeter, making catches. The guy was a clutch bat when needed. Big positive energy, big positive ball of energy. And he was on an absolute minuscule contract. Played perfect third base. Just a great guy, beloved by the fan base. And he traded him away in order to get rid of Gary Sanchez, who he picked up the option. He didn't need to pick up his option. Why did you pick up his option? In order to trade him along with Gio Urshela. That made a whole lot of sense. In order to take back Josh Donaldson, Mr. Pimp my pop-ups to center field, and I'm Mr. fucking awesome dude, and he's all, he's giving shit to everybody, and he's like, he thinks he's freaking great while he actually poses and looks at his strikeouts. He admires his own strikeouts, and admires his pop-ups to center field. Yeah, that was a great signing for $50 million plus an option. There is actually still an option next year. Don't forget that. It's an absolutely unbelievable contract, plus the fact he's 40. But Brian Cashman, in his infinite wisdom, said, yeah, we like Gio Urshela, but he's not Josh Donaldson. You're right, he's not Josh Donaldson. You're very right about that, but not for the reasons you think, my friend. And IKF had to be added to this equation. This dude that is a third baseman that can't play shortstop, and he thought, well, you know what, I'm going to put him as shortstop. Just like what he did the previous year, where he's like Gleyber Torres. He's a second baseman that can't play shortstop. I'm moving him to shortstop. Brian Cashman is willing to derail seasons in order to stick by his ideas that don't work, that are not logical, that make no sense at all, and he will double, and he will treble, and he will quadruple down on them. And it's embarrassing. So that was a trade we made, and it absolutely destroyed our year last year. Because all we did the entire year was trying to cover up for both of them. Josh Donaldson started a race debate out of nowhere while we were on course to win like 115 games, and then he ended up getting suspended for a day. And then
I support Josh Donaldson in that argument.
And then he was batting like 220, and then he was striking out a million times. And he was playing like absolute crap, right? And constantly, Brian Cashman was making excuses for him. IKF was actually worse. He couldn't hit, and he couldn't field. And I can't field. Couldn't field worth a shit. And he was so bad that he couldn't actually play short in the playoffs. And that was our deal, man. That was a trade we made. And it's actually much worse than any other trade in the history of the organization, man. I've mentioned them. You could mention the fact that we traded Jose Contreras for Loaiza and his 8.50 ERA. You could maybe mention Javier Vasquez, where he completely imploded with a 5.32 ERA. There were some bad ones, but I think this one takes the absolute cake, because I've never seen a situation where you would be better off doing absolutely nothing at all. Had we not picked up Gary Sanchez's option, and had we not made that trade, this team actually would have just been better, as is, without that absolute shit, right? And then we have his assistant general manager, Gene Afterman, who's called him the Wizard of Oz recently in a report in order to just rip into Yankee fans again, you know? And she also said it's a bit like criticizing a chess master when you don't know how to play chess, because why did he or she make a move, right? Like, that's the dumbest move in the world, and then they end up in checkmate in 5 moves. Okay, so using that logic, where's the checkmate in 5 moves for this Josh Donaldson trade and IKF trade, where it's actually hurt the organization? Where's this chess master with Aaron Hicks and his 7-year extension? How's that working out for you? He literally can't catch a ball in the outfield. How is that? Where's this chess master in that? Where am I going to get checkmate in 5 moves with those dumbass decisions? Where is the checkmate with moving Gleyber Torres to shortstop? Couldn't do it. Imploded the season. They had to move him off and put him back to second. So, and then where's the checkmate in IKF, who can't play shortstop, playing shortstop when he's actually a third baseman? So that's what I'm talking about. It's absolutely crazy to me, the insults that the Yankee fans get, that they're just idiots. Like Gene Afterman says here, she basically calls us idiots, right? If you're a fan, nobody wants to see how a sausage is made. They just enjoy the sausage. That's not true. There are people in society that are lazy. We live in a lazy society. People don't want to go look back and review his entire history. Well, I just did, and it's an absolute disgrace. We live in an era of immediate gratification. Right now, unfortunately, immediate gratification is to criticize and boo. They booed the freaking MVP. That's the world we live in. People are only looking to boo. This this is crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. So we have the assistant general manager calling Yankee fans idiots. We have the assistant general manager calling Brian Cashman a chess master and the Wizard of fucking Oz. Give me a freaking break. And saying again, once again, insulting the Yankee fans' intelligence by saying that we're only interested in the sausage, not how the sausage is made. What do you think we're just doing for the last 2 hours and 10 minutes? We're going into the deep dive of organizations and right moves and wrong moves. That's what we do as fans, and that's what we do as content creators. And that's how people make a living, actually. There's a lot of people that make a living and doing these very things. But no. Fans are just idiots. We're just lazy. We're only interested in how the sausage is made. Well, your sausage was shit. It gave me fucking food poisoning with IKF and George Donaldson. Absolutely the worst trade in the history of the organization. And Brian Cashman doubled down on it, trebled down on it, and they're still here, which makes no sense to me at all. They're still here, and they still suck, and we still have to put up with them, and we still have to get the media telling us that we're fucking idiots because they're great. Not true. It's the worst trade. And the thing was, I knew it was a disaster when it happened. When that trade went through, at the time, I said, this is a fucking disaster. This cannot be real. I actually thought it was like from the New York Porch Sports, where I thought, oh, this is obviously just like what John did. He got trolled. I thought we were getting trolled here. This isn't real. There's no way any competent organization would make this deal. And somehow, it's actually worse a year later. It's actually worse than the utter disaster and contemptibility that it was a year ago. It's actually worse 12 months later. So, yeah, this is our chess master, people. This is the Wizard of fucking Oz. Give me a frickin' break.
Okay.
Well, that was just delightful. Glad we took that trip down memory lane.
Yeah. Bravo.
All right. Anyone have any recurring thoughts to that? Because we might just end on that.
Not a single goddamn one.
Because I think Donald kind of explained it all for us. So.
No notes.
Rant. That's an A+ rant.
No notes.
All right. Well, 2 hours and 12 minutes, probably our shortest show in a long time, but we had a great show earlier today with the free agent period. It was nice having Joe Cat on. It was nice having Nate on. But more content along the rest of the week. We'll have an AL East roundtable on Thursday. I can't find an Orioles content creator, though. I don't know why, but I guess it's because they're not really a good
What do you
team.
mean? It's obvious. There's no Orioles fans.
Yeah. Or else I have to go into the depths of Baltimore. But I'm going to throw it to Luca, Angry John, Nate, Donald for final thoughts.
My brain is fried. I'm hoping the Jets get Aaron Rodgers. We talked a lot of football today. I'm hoping my brain cells start to grow back. But thanks to Nate for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Angry John.
Thank you all to the chat that came in tonight and this afternoon. We are absolutely fried with our brains right now. Also, Nate, thank you for joining us. Pleasure to have you, and hopefully we get to do more shows in the future with you. And yeah, we got a lot more content coming out, so great show, guys.
Nate?
Yeah, again, thank you for having me, guys. Always a pleasure. Good to see you guys in a non-bow camper setting. And listen, I hope you Jets fans get everything your hearts desire. I really do. As funny as it is to see you suffer, you deserve better than that. So good luck in your non-Zach Wilson pursuits. I wish you the best. And chat, thanks for being here. Guys, thanks for having me on.
Donald.
Nate, my man, good to see you again, man. We had a lot of fun in Florida. Hopefully we'll get to do it again soon. And so, other thing, I'm happy with Bobby Okereke. I think that's a good signing. And I just hope that the Giants have a couple more moves on them. I think that they need to target the D-line, corner, and wide receiver tomorrow and in the draft.
and hopefully we can get Nate on before the draft. I think it would be quite good to discuss more of the draft in full before the draft itself. But yeah, shout out to everyone in the chat. You guys have been loyal, man. You've stuck with us for like 7-8 hours. It's like a full shift. So we love you, and we'll keep getting that content out to you. And let's go Big Blue and even the Yankees too, even though they suck.
Yeah.
And go Knicks, baby. That's our one hope.
Yeah. Prospect of the week will return next week. I know my brain is, as I said, I'm not mean to make excuses, but my brain is fried a little bit. I've been working overtime as my gentlemen have, on the panel and whatnot. So we appreciate you guys. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the good stuff. Turn on post notifications so you know when a live stream pops through drops. Appreciate y'all coming back. I have more content out this week. We're almost to 1,100 already. So let's try to get there. Then that's the road to 2,000 and beyond. But appreciate you guys. See you next time. Peace.
Let's go.